What's up, everybody? Welcome to your favorite wrestling podcast. This is the Monday Night Wave, and we back. We live in full effect. Yeah, man, it's great to be back. I go by Jay, one of your co-hosts to this great illustrious thing we got going on over here.
Amazing.
But without further ado, we're gonna pass it off to the number two, the tag team partner of mine. Go ahead, take it away from here.
I am the wild card. I am the king of gorgeous. I am Mr. Sexy Ass Lottery. I am Hero. Welcome back to the Monday Night Wave. It is good to be back. And let's see. Loney Shivani. What do you want to pot about, my guy?
Loney Shivani. Okay. It's a great day to pot about wrestling. A lot of action this week. If you're just now catching up into this episode will be our recap of Double or Nothing, since they want to drop 2 fucking pay-per-views on a fucking weekend. Yes, we'll be talking about Double or Nothing today, and the next episode we'll be getting back into our regular scheduled programming, which will be covering all 3 shows. We got some news to talk about real quick, and once we get into the news, we'll talk about Double or Nothing, and we'll just go from there. News. All right. First things first. Free agency news. We talked a little bit about it last week. About Becky's contract expiring and whatnot. It has been reported that she is currently a free agent. Becky Lynch has hit the free market. We won't get into like the whole speculation of where she's going or whatnot. At least not yet. The sweepstakes hadn't started yet because we haven't heard anything from Becky about anything. But I would say, I'll ask you, like, what's your initial thoughts on, like, the contracts not being re-signed or Becky's contract not being re-signed?
My initial thought is I think she literally or legitimately does just want some like a break. I don't think it's anything having to do with not getting the right number or not getting the right dates or something like that. Although I feel like, she has a lot of leverage. She can ask for pretty much whatever she wants, and they'll more than likely give it to her, and she's well deserved of it. Yeah, I think she just wants a break. Yes, we know that she obviously, since she came back from pregnancy, she's been pretty much nonstop, except for like one injury after her and Bianca's feud. And then so she's been here pretty much nonstop since the pregnancy, and then she has a book that just came out, and she probably just wants to chill, and her husband's on the shelf as well. So I don't think we should think too much into it, but obviously it's wrestling and it's internet. People are going to think into it. They're going to speculate. They're going to fan cast, all the other stuff. But it's only day one. We should just chill. We'll see. We should give her space, and we'll see her when we see her.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I do agree that there's a lot of fan casting and where she's going here, and that shit can be fun. But there is also a toxic side of it where it just gets fucking unbearable, and it happens with any free agent that came out or that's available. We saw it with Okada, we saw it with Mercedes, and just the fans going back and forth about shit like that. This Becky not resigning led me into a different thought process. I started to look at how TKO pays people and the revenue and money that goes between them. And I started looking up just shit about TKO and how there's UFC fighters not being, paid properly and whatnot. So my head went to maybe they don't want to pay her that much. I don't know shit. Once again, speculating. I'm just looking up shit. TKO did have a couple lawsuits that were settlements to paying, former talent of UFC. We've also seen that, there's also a lot of UFC talent that just would not resign back with UFC and went to go do boxing or some shit like that. I'm not too big in the UFC world, but I have seen big star talent just they're not paying me enough over here. I'm gonna go do this over here.
Yeah, Dana White.
I don't know if that's that's what I've read. I have read that, and I'm not saying that's the case with WWE, but you have to be a fool to not, even think about maybe the bag is a little bit more stingier. We will see. This is all speculation. I don't know shit, but we'll see. Because Becky definitely deserves to be one of the highest paid wrestling talent between men and women. Because she can, like, promo. She can sell tickets. She can wrestle. Like, yeah, give her that fucking bag. It just left me in a very like interesting spot. Like, damn, like they don't really be paying people. So hopefully TKO don't really damper that shit. When it comes to WWE, and I would assume that you wouldn't, but at the same time, it is big business. You're trying to make as much money as possible with spending as little money as possible. So yeah, that's where my head went. She could just be taking a break, like you said. I honestly think that's what it is. Like, you just had a kid. Not everybody wants to be a wrestling parent on the road 24/7, especially in like the formative years where it's like 3, 4, where like you're really trying to like figure yourself out, figure your kid out. So we'll see. It's definitely surprising, but we'll see. When it came down to, it wasn't just Becky whose contract is also set to expire. We've seen that Dijak, who just got brought to the main roster, his contract is set to expire. Chad Gables is set to expire, if I'm not mistaken, relatively soon. Like, these are like contracts coming up really quickly, and Chad is on Raw and one of the biggest like storylines right now.
Yeah.
Nat, we haven't seen a lot or heard a lot from Nat. We saw in like the NXT with Lola Vice and Shayna and stuff like that, and she was in Queen of the Ring, but Nat's contract's also coming up. These are people who are on TV. These are not people who are just sitting at home not doing nothing. Like, these are people that we're seeing on the regular that could possibly be leaving pretty soon. And once again, I don't know shit. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that when Priest had told his story, that he was also like, yeah, it came down to the wire. Like, he was like 2 or 3 days, set to expire, and that's a little concerning to me. Because it shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we should have already like, yeah, so and so resigned, they're on another extension, to where now it's like you're talking about days before people, actually resign, and that's just a little scary to me.
Yeah, that's the most alarming part to me, is just them waiting to the week of to do it. Yeah, it's like finally writing a 6-page essay the fucking day before it's due or something. It just doesn't make any sense to me, especially when
Exactly.
it's well established stars, or whether it's well established, or again just like stars that are consistent. Well, I would say someone who is consistently on TV on a damn week to week basis is pretty much well established, which is pretty much everyone you just named except for Dijak. But he was well established in NXT. He was someone who was obviously
Shit.
training up motherfuckers and stuff.
Yeah.
And then then there's Natty, who I've talked about. We both praised multiple times on the show. Like, she is very. Anytime people talk about the women's evolution or revolution or whatever the hell it is labeled, she needs to be in she needs to be in the talks, because she helped men and women. She helped train a lot of people. She just tweeted again about Dawkins like an hour ago. But anyway, the point is, yeah, I think it is alarming that it is taking, like, they're doing it down to the wire. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's to take a page from Tony Khan. Like, maybe they just need to figure out who's running that particular area, and talk to him and see why are you sitting with your hands
What the
up?
fuck's
Yeah.
going on? Hey.
I do know a couple.
And that's what makes it.
It was before Mania. It was, I want to say it was early this year. They replaced the person who was in that position. They replaced them.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever's in that position, that role, that has to rehire talent or whatever, like, they are. I mean, they're a couple months in or whatever, but I don't know. Something's weird about it. It's alarming that it's taken that long. That it takes to the wire.
It is, because now we don't know whether or not, like, this was a WWE person that got fired. We brought a TKO person in to handle contract, negotiations and whatnot. I mean, that is how businesses happen and how they work. I think it is slightly dangerous. Well, not real danger, but just slightly alarming to do something like that in this market, because there are so many different options for talent to go. We've seen, like Ali go to Japan and then go to TNA. We've seen Dolph go to New Japan. So, like, the wrestling world, like, there's a bag to be got wherever right now. So to allow like these talent to go into free agency and maybe they're like, yeah, you can pay me more, but they can give me less dates. I can go shoot this movie, or I can go do this. Like that can be a dangerous aspect to it, to where in the VKM era, it was like, nope, you ain't going nowhere. Everybody signed a 5-year deals, 6-year deals, and nobody was a free agent until they got cut. You know what I'm saying? Rarely did we see like, somebody's contract fully like get filled prior to them like, being cut or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And if we did, they also like, re-signed and shit like that too. So it's just interesting. Very interesting. We didn't mention that also, like it came out that Ricochet's contracts also come up in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
This is also another talent who's on TV every fucking week. So like it's happening a little too frequently. But we'll see how they handle it. On the other spin of that, from a talent perspective, we did see that all ego Ethan Page popped up on NXT this week, and I love that shit so much. I didn't put that on my notes to talk about the news, but I just thought about that right now. Like, Ethan Page in NXT is a perfect fit, and I could not wait to see what he does.
Yeah, I was literally thinking about that today. You should keep an eye on the Prestige thing, because maybe maybe they'll either let him already fill out the obligations he already signed up to, or maybe they'll take him off. Because to me, like according to
Right.
Fightful and stuff, it seemed like he was signed, and then the next day he cut a promo saying he's not signed anywhere. But to me, it came off as a promo. It didn't come off as like legitimate, like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm not.
You can't be not signed and show up to WWE. They don't do that shit.
Yeah, no, yeah, like the only other alternative is like what they're doing with Jordan Grace, which is a contract partnership. So
Right.
yeah, I'm assuming he signed. So I'm curious to see if he's going to come to that Prestige show that's in Portland or whatnot, or if they're going to let him keep his dates.
I would assume that you
will. Based on
I
this
would assume
era,
you would have to fulfill your contracts. I don't know. Like,
because sometimes,
You said what?
like when people get signed, like Eric Rowan, for example, like he pulled out of dates that he was scheduled to, or like when they signed Carlito, like and that's how like the internet knew, like, oh, they're signed. They started pulling out all these dates now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
I'm curious, but also at the same time, in this quote unquote new regime, like they had Shayna at GCW during Mania weekend and shit like that. So
It's true.
maybe they'll let him.
We just got a crossover right now,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you just mentioned. So like with the NXT TNA, so like it seems like they're trying to open up a little bit more.
Mhm.
Definitely a lot more than what we've seen before.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's fucking great. I think because we also heard like rumors of I think it was Io and Kyrie being used in Marigold pretty soon.
Yeah.
And or a possibility of them being used at the Rossi promotion. So they're definitely leaning into like working these shows and whatnot. They're not as protective over the talent that they used to be, and I'm okay with that. Like, give these people something to do.
I bet we see Blair Davenport too. She worked a lot of Japan Joshi style shit. I wouldn't be surprised if she shows up.
Yeah,
and even and Shayna, because Japanese wrestling, they like a lot of that UFC just beat your ass type shit. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a Shayna appearance also either.
Yeah, it's an interesting time.
Mm-hmm.
Like alarming from the WWE aspect with the financials and whatnot, but as far as like talent crossovers and shit like that, we're seeing it happen in real time, and that's just so fucking dope to me. Also on the news, we had Mark Henry just showed up at MLW. We learned that earlier this week that he was not going to be renewing his contract with AEW. From what I was reading and heard a little bit, it was that like he just couldn't divert a whole, like 100% of his effort. It wasn't no like bad blood or like he hated the place or nothing like that. It was just that he could not be there 100% of the time. Which is fair.
Like
I love that.
Yeah,
exactly. Him showing up at MLW is great because once again you're just strengthening that like wrestling world. We don't talk about, actually I think this is the first time we talked about MLW, which is Major League Wrestling, I believe.
I believe
think
so.
that's
I believe so.
Major League Wrestling. A lot of W talent was in MLW that got picked up and started working for WWE. I won't say picked up; they were the
Recruited.
articles were poached. But
Recruited.
There we go. That's the correct word. Recruited while they're under contract, though. But yeah, a lot of MLW talent was recruited to go to WWE. I believe MJF had a couple stints in MLW as well. Like a lot of wrestling talent goes through them. So it's just good to really have Mark in that area, especially because he's good at scouting talent.
Yes.
He's good at looking and seeing who's the diamonds in the rough here, and that can help out both sides. He can talk to you about the WWE. He can talk to you about the AEW.
Yeah.
This is a good guy to have in a scouting kind of role, or just in a role in MLW that can dictate or help guide people to the right path for them.
Well, I mean, yeah, we don't even know if he's actually working there. It could just be an appearance.
That's true. He just showed up.
But
that's true.
To what you're saying, yeah, he's very known for his recruiting. He brought Jay to AEW. He brought Bianca to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
He brought Samantha Irving to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And those are just the top 3 names I can think of at the moment. So, yeah, he's
Daniel Bryan. He found Daniel up in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Dude has an eye.
Yeah, he has an eye. He has an eye. I don't know the exact shooting percentage, but just based off those 4 names, he didn't miss. So,
nah.
So, yeah.
The AEW deal with Warner Brothers is coming up. Not coming up, but they're in contract negotiations right now for it. With the news that NBA on TNT will not be there, this will be their last year, this upcoming season. The money starts shooting up a little bit for AEW.
Maybe.
I think maybe
that's what they expect. They expect that leverage.
That's what they expect,
because it's you got rid of one sport. Here's another sport, which is not a bad idea. It's not a bad mindset.
No, that's good business. You lost somebody. Hey, this is how we got to operate. It was reported that AEW had a 4-year deal worth about $175 million, so just under $45 million per year. Right now, it is looking like it is considerably more, estimated to be the $110 million per year or slightly more. And my initial thoughts when I saw this was damn, this makes sense in the aspect of production style. They didn't really have a lot of room to work with. I think 45 mil is very that's for what they're doing with 45 mil a year. That's pretty fucking solid. I'm impressed based off of that's a very small amount of money. I thought they were definitely getting way more than that. But it does make sense for maybe wonky stage design, maybe smaller stage design. It doesn't say anything about the venues or nothing like that, but just more so the production and that aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, if they stop paying for licensed music and flying Will Ospreay home every goddamn week, they could also have some more money. But I'm not here to pocket watch anybody.
Facts. I'm not here to and I'm all for employees being happy. If you can get somebody like a Will Ospreay and fly him home every goddamn night, do it. The man's fucking talented enough. Do it. But the fact that they are hitting the 110 mil per year, if they do go through with this deal and these numbers are correct or legit, I expect production to shoot up a lot. I think that they're going to look a lot different with 110 mil. Outside of that, we're going to get into the show, but I've heard we got a good ring announcer.
Okay, well, yes. So since we're doing Double or Nothing, and we're not going to talk about the other shows, I thought it'd be a fun idea if I would try to just give you guys the spark notes of what happened on Raw in the same vein that Excalibur reads match cards. So, if you ever seen an AEW show and heard Excalibur read match cards, you'll know what I'm saying. All right, so I'm going to try to do this. One take.
I'm not going to laugh. Come on.
No, it's fine. Does it? All right. All right. Okay. All right, this is the start of Raw. All right. Ludwig brings out Gunther. Priest comes out. Drew comes out. Drew and Priest have a promo battle. Strowman comes out. Braun and JD McNuggets fight. Finn and Carlito try to help, but to no avail. Braun wins. Ricochet and Ilya have a banger match. Braun Breaker interrupts it by spearing them both. Cross tries to recruit Xavier Woods. AOP versus the Creeds. AOP wins. Sheamus is dressed like Common again. Sheamus and Ludwig have a brawl. Lyra and Kari Zane have a fight. Lyra wins. Judgment Day have a meeting. Io freaks the fuck out. Carlito versus Rey Mysterio. Rey wins, but Priest attacks all of them. Gable insults the team. Otis versus Bronson. Big meaty men. Bumping meat. Slapping meat. Reed wins. Chad calls a meeting. Gable tries to spank Otis 69 God. Maxine stops the whooping. Sammy comes out. Man of the people. Chad attacks, lays out Sammy. Women's tag team storyline being set up. Becky versus Liv in a steel cage. Dominic comes out to open the door for Becky. Finn and JD are like, why are you doing this? Strowman comes out. He runs around on the circle, hits Dom. Dom hits Becky, and then Liv retains. That was Monday Night Raw.
That was so fucking impressive.
Thank you.
That was great. Because it was detailed too. You gave like, oh, Chad tried to slap Otis. Freak ass nigga.
He's a fan. He a fan. He a fan.
He a fan. Okay, so we're gonna break down a couple things inside that, like that great exhortation. Braun Breaker, fucking nuts,
Man.
Absolutely goddamn nuts, man. Like, once again, when I saw that shit, it reminded me of like you saying, Pierce got no control of his goddamn roster.
Absolutely not.
Zero control. Zero.
Yeah.
So it's fucked, but like when I saw that segment with Braun, I was like, of course he's gonna spear Ricochet. There's nobody else there. You're not gonna spear Ilya, not yet. I'm like, I'm tired of Ricochet getting the blood in this goddamn stick. He's having a banger fucking match. Hit. All right, cool. I didn't like the aspect of Braun chasing Judgment Day or JD throughout the entire show. That felt a little Looney Tune-esque to me.
Yeah. He did spear Ilya though. We might get a triple threat. He speared Ricochet. He speared Ricochet and Ilya. Because Ilya tried to fight him. He gave him like 2 chops, and Braun just ate him. And then he speared the shit out that nigga too.
Fuck, I thought it was just Ricochet.
Yeah.
Oh, well, damn. So,
yeah, we might get
equal opportunity spears.
Hey, bro, that for Clash of the Castle? Like shit. That'd be fire. Sign me up.
Yeah, that'd be tough. Yeah, Braun chasing JD around felt a little Looney Tune-esque to me. I came into this Raw really excited because they announced the steel cage match before the show, which doesn't really happen like that. So I was like, damn, coming off of like the heat of Double or Nothing, you know, I'm like, we're gonna get like more wrestling, just more. The women get their chance to fucking go crazy, and to see that they did, but the ending or the fucking wrap up or the finish was still wrapped around like Judgment Day and Braun Strowman chasing around JD. Felt like it took away from what the women could have had, which I think that we could have got the Liv escaping and then did that shit afterwards, and I'm okay with it. We could still got the Dom like kiss and everything like that after she had won cleanly. Because this also for me looks like Liv could not beat her without outside interference. And if this is the Becky go home match, which it was, I kind of wanted like Liv to come out like, I did it. Like, we're wrapped up. She at home now. I'm your women's champion. But instead, it just showed that she was like still looking a little like, you know, just not as dominant of a champion as you would want your champion to be. Well, that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's still early, and it's low key. It's low key. It's part of the story because they mentioned during the Saudi show like Liv never beat Becky 1v1. She did it. Obviously, there was help, and then Liv was like during earlier the show, Liv had a promo or whatever, and she says, I want to do this 1v1. I want no excuses because we'll be in a cage, and then even the announcers mentioned about how, you know, she's trying to beat her just straight up very clean. But then some story shit happens. So, like, if assuming Becky does return inevitably, granted that Liv does have officially 2 wins over her, she can still have the story where it's like, no, you never technically beat me clean. Similar to like what Randy and Gunther will eventually have, where it's like, you didn't have both my shoulders down, guy. You won the match, but we got to run this back because it's not super clean. You know, is it the greatest story? No, but it's a wrestling trope, and you know, I feel I think it's just still, like, yeah, it's still early, and hopefully shit picks up, and I mean, Rhea's going to return inevitably, so that's when story shit will for sure start picking up. But I wouldn't consider like, I don't like this isn't Liv's first feud with this title, so I don't want to. I mean, it is, but it ain't. So I feel like we got to give a little grace. Let's see what happens by the end of Class of the Castle. If she ain't got no good storylines or nothing, I'm ready to have another conversation for sure.
Yeah, and I think the conversation would be had with just like writing and production more so like than the talent, because they're just doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I just feel like in the event that, let's say, this was Becky's last match, which is kind of what we have to take it as of right now.
Right.
That just wasn't a really solid way to do that. That wasn't a good send off. That wasn't like I hate star ratings, but like the 5-star like rating that you gave the women's division. That wasn't the power up that I was looking for to push Liv over the threshold. You are right to where they can also do like the storylines of like you never beat Becky clean when Becky comes back or if she comes back. But it's like the time it takes to develop those stories. There's so much that can happen in between then, WWE they take time with their stories. Do you have another 6 months to invest into a Liv and Becky feud? You say like, hey, like
I was gonna say I also think other people are gonna use it in storylines also, like similar to again like Drew, like so her next feud might be like, yeah, you got that title, but you didn't earn it truly because you got that bitch boy helping you, and then also you injured Rhea. Like it'll be used. It doesn't have to be used for just Becky. Like other people are gonna use that as ammo against her.
They will. It's just like, I guess just for me, I just wanted just a stronger representation for Liv, considering this is her second title shot. Even the first one wasn't that great either. Like I don't want to see Liv fall into the same tropes. Like you said before, it's still too early. We still got some time left. We'll see what happens at Clash of the Castle and Money in the Bank, because we know inevitably like SummerSlam Rhea's coming back. So like that's what they're kind of like angling towards. So if she makes it to SummerSlam and we still don't know, like, damn, like this Liv run wasn't like that good, then we can have a very honest fucking conversation about like, the writing and how the booking was for Liv and shit like that.
Yeah, it depends on when Rhea's coming back, and also the the amount of competition that Liv also has, because right, like all damage controls heals, so she's not going to fight against damage control. So other than that, it's like who are the big baby faces on Raw in the women's division, and the only name I can think of is Lyra, Maxine, and Ivy.
Lyra.
Yeah, Lyra. And
at Clash of the Castle, like they'll probably go Lyra. I think Lyra will try to get her lick back because like you fucked over Becky. I'm gonna get my lick back at Clash of the Castle for my friend, which I think would be a good win for Liv if she can get that, and I think she will. But it's probably Lyra. They've been pushing Lyra a lot, in kind of like the successor of a Becky right now, because we're not going to have her. Even with Becky being the push for Lyra, like she was pushing the hell out of her. She had the great match with Nia at King of the Ring. So I would assume that it would be Lyra, which would be like the fastest trajectory I've seen for like an NXT like rookie to just come in and go immediately, to pay-per-view title match.
Yeah. The Raw side needs some more baby faces in the women's division right now. And like Becky she's a megastar, so it's time for other people to either shit or get off the pot. And they still got Rhea, because Rhea's a fucking megastar too, and Rhea's only like 26, so we're in good hands with that. And Rhea will be a babyface when she comes back. But as far as like the power rankings go, there's more heels on Raw. There's more women heels on Raw than there is women faces on Raw, at least like star power wise. And I want to say that's
right.
It's almost, and it's kind of like the reverse on SmackDown. Like there's more babyface star power on SmackDown with the
faces than their heels.
Yeah. So yeah, there's some more power balancing, or just balancing out some shit that they got to get, because Charlotte's gonna come back. She's a good heel. She'll probably come back as a face though. But I mean, she can always switch. Yeah, I don't know. They got to figure that shit out.
Yeah, women's division for WWE is very interesting right now. Like you said, just we don't know who the baby faces are and who the heels are. Well, we know, but it's a lopsided amount on the opposite shows.
Yeah, there's a gap between star power, and like.
yeah, that there's a yeah, you're right. There's like it's a power gap of like you're too new to be on the main scene, right? But we need you kind of like up here. Lyra's handled that role really well, but we need more of that from other like women talent and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, Before we get into like Double or Nothing, you want to go over like, just like the brief of like SmackDown or whatnot, or like the big moments from SmackDown.
Yeah. Um. Okay. Nia Jax opens the show as Queen, calls out Bayley. Bayley comes out, immediately gets attacked by Piper and Chelsea. They decided that they're going to fight at Clash of the Castle. AJ asks Aldis to address the universe. Ciampa versus Theory. Grayson talks shit about Theory during the match. Theory hears it, causes him the match. Ciampa wins. Blair and Naomi meet. They don't like each other. LA Knight wants to know where Logan Paul is. Carmelo and LA talk. Carmelo mixes up his name. Then we get Apollo versus Andrade. Legado comes out, tries to recruit Andrade. Andrade wins. Andrade walks by Legado. They take that as fucking disrespect. Solo tries to hype up the Tongans. Heyman tries to lend his wisdom. Solo makes him talk to KO. Apollo attacks Angel in the back for the Andrade win. KO and Heyman talk. We get Bloodline / DOD versus Street Profits. Bloodline wins. Then we get the Bayley, Naomi versus Piper Chelsea. I do not know how that went. And then we get a fake retirement. AJ acts like he's going to retire, attacks Cody. Cody damn near kills Cody, and that is the end of SmackDown.
Wow. Yeah, I was not ready for the Excalibur bit that time. That one caught me off guard. But once again, very well executed. Quick notes about this one. One thing that caught me off guard was that they did an interview with Michin. And she's like, "Oh, we never talked. None of us talked to AJ. We didn't like see AJ. Like, we don't know what's going on." And then later in the show, the fucking promo he does is with the Good Brothers. So it's like, what the fuck is going on here? She's not in the group. I swear, I thought she was part of the group.
Yeah.
The continuity with that was like, you just left her in the dry. Like, what the fuck? And she even tweeted like, "Yo, where was my hug at?" Like,
yeah, I feel
what the fuck is going on here? That was funny to me. The LA Knight Carmelo segment was great because he's like, LA Knight's not even here. He's like, LA Knight's right in front of you. Like, Logan Paul, like, and that was a good bit. It was also really good how he stayed in character and flipped that, because I would have broke. Like, I would have crumbled after like fucking up in the head with that promo. But Carmelo bounced back and like, just flipped into the I'm him kind of moment when that was a really good like fucking like, catch.
Yeah, he had a good recovery.
This also
didn't.
He recovered very fucking well. This looks like we're getting LA Knight and Logan Paul. I don't think it would be at Clash of the Castle.
No.
I would kind of hope Money in the Bank.
My end game is still
possibly.
SummerSlam is when LA wins it, which means they need some time to. They got a couple months to buffer, so we might get Logan. We might get Logan LA twice, but until Logan shows up,
we're
gonna get Mello in
LA. Mello.
That's what I meant to say. We're gonna get Logan in LA probably twice, because Logan is obviously gonna cheat the first time. But yeah, until then we'll get Mello and Knight just to keep shit spicy.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Keep it simmering.
We got the debut of Gorillas of Destiny. I didn't see anything. I didn't feel like this was like, damn, I was excited to see them come out and like wrestle and whatnot. And not say anything about them talent or in-ring wise. I just think that we got to like keep cooking this new bloodline. And I don't know what they're missing, but there's just something that's a little lackluster for me. Paul Heyman's definitely carrying the fuck out of these like segments, to where he's the one keeping you entertained and you want more of the bloodline shit, because the way he's able to sell his promos, the way he's able to tell his promos, he's the one keeping me invested. As of right now, when it comes to like the bloodline like storyline, I did see that they were thinking or saying that Jimmy's supposed to come back pretty soon, so we might get Jimmy confronting Solo and whatnot. Which I think is also much needed, because we got to figure out what their angle is. SummerSlam is only 2 months away. Money in the Bank's a month away. Like we gotta start getting some of these storylines built for that big PLE in August.
Yeah, they got some time. They got some time.
They do.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Um,
lie and say I'm the most eager to see a Jimmy solo match, but Jimmy does need time to. He needs the same amount of time that Jay got when he finally split, so that he can develop his character. And I think part of that is going
it's
to
true.
be working with KO, and we're going to get the same dynamic similar to when KO was really hesitant to work with with Jay, but this time it's going to be Jimmy, and then I think it's going to be comedy. And then until we get Fatu, I think Randy will probably help again. So it'll be those three versus those three until we get Fatu, and then hopefully Roman shows up, and we'll see what goes on from there. But this is just me fan cast. You just theorizing now. But
That's what this is all about, baby. We got
I
a fan
I, I,
cast. We
th-
got to get our
I
opinions.
think Jimmy and KO are going to start working together relatively soon, and KO and Randy are going to stay a
That's gonna
team.
be fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Um, I I will say, Dawkins is growing. Pause. That sounds fucking insane. Dawkins is uh leveling up. His in ring ability is leveling up. He is. He's. He's showing out, man.
Yeah.
Every time I see him wrestle, like he's always looking good. But like now, like he's really like stepping up. I think the only thing is like maybe a little, eh, not even bad, but I think his ring attire is what kind of takes away from like what he's actually does, because the whole like shorts and the tank top, he looked like he just opened the door, played some Madden, and just jumped into the ring. Like, but overall talent wise, he has. I think I think his in ring appearance is what dictates a lot of people's opinions about him. Um, but overall, dude's fucking phenomenal. Like he's fucking showing out every fucking time I turn on SmackDown.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, again trying to beat those Marty Jannetty allegations, those Tucker allegations. He ain't gonna be left. He ain't
yes,
gonna be left to the wind. So whenever they do finally split up, Dawkins is going to be in a good spot. And like I said earlier, yeah, Natty just tweeted about him a couple hours ago, talking about how hard he works. Because someone tweeted about
yeah,
how he keeps growing and how he's underrated right now. And it's like he every Wednesday, I think she said every Wednesday, every week he comes to the dungeon and works out for 3 hours, and and she said it's a 4 hour trip, so 2 hours there, 2 hours back. He trains,
that's
no air conditioning every week, and you can see it. Like
dedication,
yeah,
man. You
you can see it.
can definitely see it. Um, the big spot of SmackDown was the AJ Styles retirement. Um, it was hinted at that, like, last week he was talking to Pierce. He's like, I don't know how much time I got left. I don't know if I keep doing this, I just may not be here, that kind of thing. So he's playing off of like, might hang up the boots. Um, with that, we get AJ, who comes to the ring, and he is uh in this blue pastel suit. Once I saw it, I immediately thought of Mark Henry, because it reminded me of the Mark Henry John Cena segment. Um, he comes out and
Yeah, you
he's
can't trust somebody from the South in a pastel suit.
craziness. He comes out and he's like, just talking about like, how he had so much fun, and how like, Leon was his best match he's had. He had Cody to come down, like, I talked to you backstage, I just want you to come to the ring and whatnot. And I'm getting ahead of myself. Before that, Good Brothers were there. He ends up hugging with them. He does a too sweet, the last one, as it seems, and then he calls Cody out, and then Cody comes down to the ring, um, and gets a little emotional. Cody says that we had that match in Lyon, and I texted him after the match to make sure he's okay. He's like, I'm all good, little brother. And so it's like this is good, feel good moment between the two. And yeah, that didn't last too long because AJ fucking turns immediately. So if he's his mind is, if you're not gonna give me the title match, I'm just gonna like fake a retirement, attack the champion, so that way I can get another title match. Um, eh, what did you think about this segment with like the retirement and the potential of AJ versus Cody again?
I think it's good. I mean, when we first talked about like before Backlash, I said on the show like I think that this might be a 2 to 3 match feud. So when it was seemingly when it was a one off, I don't want to say shocked, but I was like, oh, okay, well, all right, we'll see. But no, now we're running it back, which is dope. Um, yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I'm curious if they're gonna do the three-peat,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then like have the third match be a stipulation, or what, or just or I mean I don't know. He already tried like he already almost tried to kill him as far as I'm concerned. So maybe
Yeah,
this next match is the stipulation match, but whether it's for Clash
the
of the
nigga.
Castle, whether this match is at Clash at the Castle or Clash at the Castle or Money in the Bank, it's gonna be fire.
Yeah, he did try to Styles Clash his man off the steel steps.
Oh, they
Not
did.
try, he
Yeah,
did.
he did that shit.
Um, he definitely executed that shit. I I don't know. I think we were spoiled in the sense of Cody's story last year, to where we're riding the wave of finish the story Cody. To where I'm like, damn. After that settles, like, well, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, I just need more story elements to Cody's rivals or his opponents coming up. And I don't think we're gonna get that to the extent of finish the story Cody, and I'm okay with that. I just need a little bit more, to where maybe if this was the case, maybe had AJ fucking interfered in the Logan match to kind of like keep that story going of some sorts. Maybe he attacks him after Cody wins, just something so that we can keep this story like fucking rolling instead of like, oh, it's Cody versus AJ, oh, Cody versus Logan, and now we're back to Cody versus AJ.
Well, yeah,
Like, especially when I thought like
now it's more
the
intense
end
though.
of Leon was that.
Well, yeah, and now it's more
It
intense, so that now we'll get a better story because like, him and Logan were for sure just a one off. I think the best story that we'll get until Rock comes back or until we get Roman Cody 5 or whatever the fuck it's going to be him versus Randy, and they're waiting for that. There's a reason why they're waiting for it. We don't know, but there's a reason for it. And him versus KO would be a good feud too. But I mean that would be a good babyface feud because KO doesn't need the turn. But we'll get more story this time because they barely touched on their Bullet Club history and shit during the whole Backlash stuff. Like there's still more stuff that they can get after. I feel like.
Maybe that's the case too. Maybe like the whole Logan and Saudi thing could have been like a contractual thing because we already knew that Logan wrestled in Saudi with Roman before. Maybe it's like, oh, Logan got to be in the championship match at Saudi, and then we'll just get back to fucking Cody versus AJ. I do think there is more meat on the bone to the story. There's definitely a lot more you can like dive into for sure.
I have a
Um,
question. I mean, okay, because what you're saying about how you feel about Cody's story, all that's valid. As far as his first two defenses go, those like you enjoyed both matches though, right? Like the him and AJ and him and I mean, well, you didn't like the Logan one that much, but you liked the AJ one though, right?
yeah, I didn't like the Logan one that much.
Okay,
AJ one was fucking
all
fire.
right. So the story might not be hidden, but match quality wise,
His matches, he's hidden.
okay.
Even the Logan wasn't bad. I wouldn't say it was the worst match on the fucking card. I just didn't particularly enjoy that match. It was good. But
It
yes,
was like
he's capable
yeah,
of putting on fucking
it was
bangers,
10 minutes.
bro. Like,
Yeah, it was 10 minutes too long. We talked about the yeah. All right, yeah. I was just no, I was just
um,
curious about that.
but my thing is that even with that, like we know Cody's capable of doing these banger matches and whatnot. But what the fuck do we do? I guess they already know like Gunther is going to be wrestling either Priest or at Drew at this moment. We don't fucking know. Um, and we're not going to get Gunther versus Cody for a while, I would assume. So I guess like, yeah, during this timeline or this time frame, uh, his rivalry AJ will probably go into something with Randy and whatnot. Bloodline's not going to touch, Cody. Although Solo did say this week that they got Cody in check,
Yeah,
and I wonder what the fuck that
without
means
him even knowing it.
without him even knowing it. So maybe the Bloodline Cody story is not over with. And I would assume that it's not because like you did take our shit and now we don't got the main locker room and shit like that. And if that was Solo's whole main motivation is that he don't got the locker room no more, the story's not finished between them. I just want to know. I wonder how it's all going to develop right now. And that could be after the AJ fucking match. I would assume AJ probably lasts, like we said, until like Money in the Bank or maybe SummerSlam and whatnot. It's just interesting. All the stories right now developing are just very interesting. I feel like we're just in a very gray area when it comes to the direction that everybody needs to be going or heading into.
Yeah, and honestly, he does kind of like. I mean, I talk about story all the time, but he does kind of need some one-off feuds just so that he can build up title defenses. Like I'm still on the boat where between now and SummerSlam, I want to see him in Omos. I don't know why I want to, but I really do. I think that would be a good ass win for him because you can't do Brock. Like obviously Brock is banned right now, and there's no other like super crazy. Like I think that would be a great attraction match for Money in the Bank or even Clash of the God. Well, it seems like we're gonna get AJ. I keep saying Clash, but yeah, like he kind of needs some defenses. Like we have to kill time until we get Roman back / The Rock back if they are going to keep Rock and Cody because it seems like we're getting Rock and Cody for Mania. So I mean,
Yeah,
that's how they left it, but TBA because he might make Moana 5.
that
So
also
so
that also brings up something that I think they had confirmed that like Cody pulled an audible at Rumble. I think that
that's
the
a
story that I read was that
yeah
he went into quote unquote business for himself and pointed at Roman and whatnot. And that's what kind of like led the whole full force, Cody facing off against Roman. And that would also make sense, was just how everything was so convoluted back then. But then that also makes sense again why Rock's whole thing was Cody crybabies. To where if he could have been, it could have been, a shot at the crowd, but it could also have been like, nah, man, this man went over and started crying about fucking, changing up the
yeah.
matches and shit.
I'm still taking that
And
with
now
a grain.
Cody crybaby.
I'm still taking that with a grain of salt because Cody is a known liar. He talks about how much he likes to fucking lie. So I'm taking his word for a grain of salt. I'm not trusting Brian Gurwitz or whatever, the Rock's personal writer. Of course, he's gonna be on the fucking Rock side. And then, like at the end of the day, because I remember when one of the first few articles came out about that, DT shared it or whatever, and in the chat, and it's just like at the end of the day, like we like fuck whatever caused the butterfly effect. This was the best outcome because I assure you, the timeline where it's babyface Rock versus Roman, that's not going to be a good match. It's not like that heel Rock, that Rock that we got because of the switch that they had to do, the pivot is one of the best Rocks that we ever got, like ever. And he was in his bag. And we got some cool shit with Rope, and and then you finish the story. Now we're getting some bloodline shit. Like that is what we ended up getting is so much better than seeing babyface Rock cut those fucking bullshit Fox News promo. Look like you're wearing llama penises. All this other bullshit, all the corny things he says, like it nipped all that shit out like in the bud. Like we got so much better shit. And yeah, honestly, it probably would have been like another tribal combat match. No, this was the better.
You are right.
This was the better.
This
outcome.
was the best outcome. I think we got the problem.
And then we can still get that match, but this time heel Rock, which we know heel Rock is in his bag, versus babyface Roman, which is what like. Everyone's ready for anti-hero or at least babyface Roman at this point. Like every show so far we want Roman chance. Like this babyface run is going to hit.
Well, shit. Like where do we? Okay, if you're thinking that it's going to be Cody versus Rock at Mania, where do you put Roman versus Rock? Like,
I mean,
where does that happen?
That could be a Rumble match. That could be a SummerSlam match. Or shit, Roman could do double duty, or they can do double duty again or something. Maybe they'll do a tag match similar to what they did. So maybe it's like, I don't know, Rock and Jimmy versus, or I mean, Roman and Jimmy versus Rock and Solo or some shit. I don't know, but they could do 2 matches or something, or we just never get that match.
You don't want to get Rock versus Roman?
After everything we've seen, I'd rather have Rock versus Cody. Like, that's the story. Like, right? I mean, that's the more interesting story right now. Him making him bleed on the bus. Mama Rose.
I'm telling DT, you don't want to see his dream match happen. That's crazy.
It's a lot of people's dream match, but now I want Rock versus Cody. That's more of my dream. Like, the story that they've been cooking, that's way better than anything we've seen. Like, that is a good story. Mama Rhodes. No, I want Mama Rhodes. Rhodes.
I made him bleed.
Look at you now, boy. Look at you now. I want, yeah. Bro.
You're right. That was the greatest, like, the Mania build up that last, like, 4 weeks until Mania was some of the greatest, like, shit. There was a couple promos that kind of off, but, like, the whole beating the hell out.
After the sing-along, when shit started getting real.
That sing-along,
man.
Cooking over there. You're right. We would never got that great finish of a Mania. I think that's probably in my top 5, maybe top 3 best finishes to a Mania ever. Which is like the whole, like, Taker and that shit. Let's get into AEW Double or Nothing. Out the gate, before we get into the matches, I'll just say this was a very entertaining pay-per-view. A very long pay-per-view. Entertaining, and there's a couple matches that I would have took away from the show in general to kind of like shorten the time. Mm-hmm. And we'll get to those matches when we'll get to them. But overall, just an overall entertaining match, or entertaining show. First match is Ospreay versus Roderick Strong for the International Championship.
Wait, is that the first match? I mean, I know there was.
Yeah, that's how they opened the show.
Oh,
well, there was the pre-show, the kickoff show, and shit like that.
Yeah, did you watch the 2 buy-in matches?
I watched the Thunder Rosa and Deanna match. I missed the other one, which was, I believe, the Acclaimed match.
Yeah, versus Cage and Agnew, which Acclaim won, Deanna won.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, the Thunder Deanna match was great. That was them women were fucking wrestling, and their story is still going to be fucking cooking. I would assume that the next AEW show, like, they're going to have something for them as well. But yeah,
which show?
Ospreay versus Roderick Strong. I'm gonna fuck you up, bro. It's got the jokes, man. I don't want no smoke with nobody. All right, just we want sponsors. We want to be at shows and shit. I'm trying to get paid to go to shows, man.
Yeah, no, I feel it.
Regardless of where they're at. Overall, this match was great. I don't know entirely if it made. I'll save it till the end. But the match was great. There was a couple, there's a misstep early in the match where they go for this electric chair drop spot where Ospreay's flying off the ring to do a clothesline. He doesn't get all of it, and he kind of ends up fucking hitting his head.
Yeah, it's like a
pretty fucking hard in this match.
Legion of Doom move. What is that move called? I know what you're talking about though. Fuck.
Either way, he goes for it. It doesn't hit. It was just a little sloppy there. I will keep praising Roderick Strong. I think he's fucking a phenomenal fucking talent. It made me watch this match, and I don't know if it happened or not. But I was this version of there you go, Doomsday Device. This version of Roderick Strong versus this version of Sami Zayn would be a fucking banger to me. I think that that's if it could happen in the my fucking head, my fantasy booking. I think they would just have a fucking banger match because Roderick Strong's a great fucking heel and whatnot. There's a segment of the match where Ospreay is getting his leg targeted. Roderick's doing technical shit and whatnot, and he's hesitating again to do the Death Valley or not Death Valley, but the Tiger Driver 91. He ends up hurting Roderick, refs checking on him. Don Callis is like, hey, like, go for the kill, do it. And you can see him for a moment trying to pump himself up to do it, and he just doesn't do it. Clearly, I think this is a tie into like a later match on the show, and we'll get to that as well, just with Don Callis being like involved and whatnot. Now that I think about it, Don Callis is all over this goddamn show. Solid match. He ends up pulling out like the hidden blade to get the win on Roderick Strong. Or prior to that, Undisputed Kingdom does like interfere in the match. And this is where I kind of like lost me a little bit because Taven comes up on the ropes and he's supposed to like and Mike come up to distract the ref. Wardlow slips in looking to give a powerbomb to Ospreay, and the ref catches him. And so there is no like powerbomb. He kind of backs off like, oh, you caught me. He rolls out, and then like we don't see any more like interaction between like Wardlow and, you know, the Undisputed Kingdom. Yeah. Ospreay gets the win. He becomes AEW International Champion, which took me by surprise. Just because I don't know where they're going.
How did it take you by surprise? You picked him to win the match.
Yeah, but I didn't know that they were actually going to do it. While I was watching it, I didn't think that was going to fucking happen. I was like, yeah, you know, Ospreay gonna get the belt. I didn't think it was going to really happen like that. I thought Ospreay was going to win and there'd be some kind of interference. But yeah, he gets it, and you know, he walks back to just match ends, and we get fucking Adam Cole. Adam Cole pops out, music hits, and at this moment I think like, okay, maybe Adam Cole is about to, you know, he's either going to attack Ospreay, maybe he's going to scold like Roderick for losing, or maybe scold Wardlow. None of that happens. He comes down to the ring. He cuts the promo. He should be at home rehabbing his leg. He shouldn't be here. Story time. I'm going to tell you a story about, just about the fucking mask and everything, the devil mask. And then we get the blackout. We get a really, really dope fucking video package for MJF. Where it's just the walking down the hall, goes down his trophy room, picks up his ring, lights flash back on, and we get MJF.
Dressed up like Timu Triple H, which I don't know if that's supposed to be a shot or if it's just supposed to be a wink and a nod. I will say this: his tan, in particular, was a little egregious. But yeah, before you finish, maybe you should finish. I have a nitpick with this whole thing, but maybe we should just wait till you're finished explaining.
Yeah, I have some things too. We can definitely talk about. I think I know where certain things are going. But yeah, MJF comes out. He goes in for the hug on Adam Cole, and then he immediately gives him a fucking brainbuster suplex. Tells him to get this dipshit out the ring.
Yeah, you hurt me never again.
Yeah, you're the first person I trusted, and nobody's going to get this trust again. That kind of thing. He's playing on the angle that, like, you fucked it up for everybody. From now on, it's hate, which is actually what he said. The the bit that had everybody online in a frenzy is that I don't need a New Japan. I don't need a Vince McMahon to make MJF. Which did what it did. It garnered the reaction. People are going to react to it. You're going to say how you feel about it. I took it as like the literal sense of it is that like he is right. He didn't come from New Japan. He didn't come from WWE, and he's one of the biggest fucking like stars currently in the world.
Okay, all right.
That's not false.
No,
it's not like he didn't come from.
No, he is AEW.
Either one of those.
He is an AEW homegrown. He is one of the legit OG original. Like, I mean, all the pillars are technically OG originals, as far as I'm concerned. Like, they weren't previously at
Right.
WWE. Sure, they did indie stuff, but yeah, they weren't at TNA before. Maybe they had a small stint, but no, like MJF is AEW. And at the end of the day, I'll just get this out of the way. I'm glad he is staying. My problem with that comment though, with the New Japan Vince McMahon comment, is that one, Vince McMahon is not in power anymore. So it's just another, like, it's similar to TK's comment during the NFL draft, where it's like you're the dude you're talking about doesn't even work here anymore, and you're saying that while you're dressed like Triple H. So again, I'm not sure if this was supposed to be a shot. I mean, it's fuck Vince McMahon. So if that's a shot to Vince, that's fine. I don't give a fuck. But it's just, to me, it's just a weird thing to say, because again, that nigga doesn't work here anymore. But before all that, before we get to the tattoo, which, man, I'll save this. Anyway, let's get to the tattoo. He essentially he says no one else can make him, which he did make his own star power there. And that is, and he's not lying about that, because despite TK's not so good booking, MJF is easily one of the biggest stars, if not the biggest star there. The only other person I would say is Kenny Omega, but Kenny Omega has a crazy ass New Japan history. After that, it kind of goes down the ladder with Mox, etc., etc. But again, I think he should have stayed. But my other problem with the comment is that there was the whole point where he was egging on this bidding war, to where he interrupted the show doing it. He was the first person to fuck up Wardlow's momentum, because there was a whole show where it was like, is MJF even going to show up? It's like it's similar to the whole tribalism shit, where people will get upset about the tribalism, and it's like your boss is the one that's fueling it. Like, you teased a crazy bidding war for like a year and a half. So then to show back up and be like, no one else can make me, I'm staying. I mean, I'm glad you're staying, but you also were the nigga who was teasing, maybe I should just go there. Maybe I should text Triple H. Right? Like, you were teasing that. Like, it's in episodes of the show. So it's just weird to me.
Yeah, but they all, like, WWE does it too, and I'll give you examples of where they do feud or feel the tribalism. If you want to go to, the whole DX in the tank outside of Nitro, like, that was feuding tribalism to a sense. If you want to go to, we were just talking about MLW being poached or recruited, which is unethical. Granted, like, yeah, the independent contract can go, but like, it's unethical to be like, bro, you reach out to my talent. The same thing could be said when, H got back in the chair and like, Swerve got calls to come back. Like, W does it too. So there's not a reason to not be like mad at WWE or feel like they don't feel the tribalism like they do. With like, they don't do it publicly though. They do it on the low. They'll do it sneak, like, and then act like their hands wasn't in the fire. Like, that's kind of like how it is. MJF and AEW will just come out publicly and say it in front of you, but WWE has a history of going back and poaching talent, of shutting down promotions and whatnot.
Okay, most of your examples is
it's embedded in the history of it,
right? Okay, but most of those examples are way before just this last decade. And also,
I mean, the AEW stuff was recent, and the MLW stuff was recent. Like, the AEW only been around for 5 years, and they were poaching or trying to poach Swerve. Swerve's been there since 2021, so that's only like 4 years ago. So like a year in, 2 years into our promotion starting, you call to get your talent back.
We don't know what they.
We also know that in that same vein,
that is taking someone's.
Wait, hold on. No, there's multiple articles about that. You can read that. No, it's also the same thing when it came to Regal. Like, Regal being let out of his contract was also like kind of crazy, because like, okay, Regal is here. He wanted to sign here. He got dropped. But then, you get a call like, hey, like, Triple H is back in the chair. He's going to, like, my son's going to be in NXT. And then Regal's just not a part of, like, AEW anymore. So there's a history of them doing shit like that. We can't act like they don't be playing the game, bro.
I'm not saying they're not playing the game, but we're taking like we're taking someone's word. Like, Swerve didn't show us the texts or emails. Like what? Like if Triple H, okay, if I'm Triple H and I got in a chair and I text Swerve and Malakai and be like, "Yo, what's up?" If depending on how you guys feel when you're done, holler at me. I don't know if that's exactly. We don't know we don't know the conversation. Is I guess my whole point. We don't know what they said. Maybe Triple H just said, "Hey, big head." Maybe it was a "Hey, big head" text. Like just like, "What's up?"
Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no way you pulling the "Hey big head" text on this situation.
We don't know what they
That's
said.
fucking insane.
We don't know a single damn thing. Like we're talking about wrestlers. Wrestlers are actors. They have the biggest ego. Mercedes literally just said she's the best female wrestler on the fucking planet. All I'm saying is we can't take, because look, like I said, I don't trust actors. Wrestlers are also actors. We can't take what they say for face value all the time, especially if there's no receipts. I'm not saying they didn't do that, though. I'm not saying Triple H didn't say, "Come over here when you're done." I'm just saying we don't know the exact words they said. Again, it could have just been a "Hey, big head." I'm sorry.
But we can acknowledge that he reached out.
Yes, yeah, no, yeah, of course, yes.
Get the fuck.
But why? But again, but why wouldn't he? Triple H fucked with Triple H fucked with Swerve and Vince McMahon because he's a terrible person. He didn't see the vision in all these people. So then when he got the job, hypothetically, let's say I got the job, I'm gonna hit up all my old people that I really liked who got fucked over because this old man. I'm gonna just see how they feeling. And if they say no, they say. If they say no, they say no.
If they're under contract, but if he had said yes, right, and the Swerve left, then like that's tampering, bro. You can't tamper with contracts that's already been like. That's crazy.
This is not NBA or NFL. It's still it's independent contracts.
We can't push the goalposts on like WWE doing dirt. Like that's still dirty.
I'm not saying it's not dirty. I'm just saying one, we don't know exactly what they're doing, and two, the it's not the same thing as like someone on like the Kings hitting up Steph Curry right now or some shit. It's not this. It's not the same thing. Like this, it's a different job. It is still a sport, but they are not the same as NFL players, NBA players, soccer, football, all the other stuff. It is poaching on paper, quote unquote, but it's not literally poaching to where it's a legit crime. Otherwise, AEW could have sued.
Yeah, but contract breaching is not a crime, but it's lawsuits involved in that. So let's say hypothetically, you're right. Swerve goes back to WWE. He breaches the contract. WWE's going to pay the lawyer fees for him breaching that contract. That doesn't make it right that it's going to be covered and whatnot. Right. It's just the fact that like you're being like tampered with. Like outside influences are dictating whether or not you think this promotion is good or bad, or you just want to leave and whatnot. Like that's kind of crazy. And it's even more so crazy because to double back to the MLW thing, they just settled a lawsuit talking about how they were tampering. I think it was like 20 mil or some shit like that. That's actually like proof in lawsuits, and you can read that a whole like shit. So WWE does it too. So it's like AEW, MJF will come out and say like, he'll feel the tribalism. WWE does it to themselves. Like they have a history of doing it. No matter if Vince McMahon is gone from the promotion, you are the living embodiment of Vince McMahon. You are his golden child, his golden goose. Vince McMahon's name is always going to be attached to WWE, no matter if he's there or not, because he's just the founder of the fucking like thing. Like even if Triple H goes on another 100 years, where it's like the Paul Levesque era was the greatest thing to happen in wrestling, which I think it will be. You're always going to be able to go back to the history books and look at who was running the fucking company, who started the shit, who killed other brands, who fucking took out WCW, right, who brought over shit. Even in that, taking WCW talent. Shit, it's so much so that we're just like, fuck, I'll just buy the whole company. It's fucking crazy.
Well, they had the chance to buy the whole company. All right, we deviate.
That's crazy.
Because that's a whole other conversation. We deviated from a bit. My thing is though, my main thing was if you are acting like you want to be poached, you're acting like I'm going to leave this job, but you don't. It's the same. Okay, it's the same. It's the same thing as when we get into the free agency stuff. And then, like, people were super wanting Drew to go to AEW, or they're super wanting Okada to go to WWE. And then the fans get mad when they re-sign. It's like, why are you mad that they re-sign somewhere that they're already well established at? Like, you guys made this whole storyline in your head, like why Ricochet should leave. But if Ricochet re-signs, there's going to be a whole ton of hate, like, oh, you don't want to work with Ospreay, or when Ospreay signed, like, oh, you're running from the grind. He has his own fucking reasons why he signed to this place. like we can make jokes about running from the grind, but to actually legitimately be upset and like to make hate and shit, like that's I don't know. To me, it's in the same boat. It's I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah,
It's just
we gotta
I would
stop.
say it's weird behavior. If anything.
It is, and this is why, like, you like for me personally, how I look at like information that comes across the internet about wrestling, grain of salt.
Yeah.
Because we already know these motherfuckers are friends. Talent are friends. They talk to each other. So if you think fan input is what takes a talent away, you're slightly mistaken, hardly mistaken. It's probably like, hey, my best friend's over here. I'm gonna go over here. It's like that's just how it is. But the thing about the IWC, which I've noticed by us doing this podcast and getting this news and all this information, is that this shit is toxic, bro. It's fucking toxic. So just think for yourself, have your own opinions and thoughts. Shit can be funny, but take shit with a grain of salt. At least how I do it. Because like you can get there is no positive comments on any post about anything.
No.
And there's no comments or positive comments about talent. It's impossible. We'll see that like, oh, Bianca got the cover for 2K. Racist fucking comments. Mm-hmm. We'll see that, oh, JoJo's out there partying and having a good time, trying to live past, the passing of her fucking loved one. What is she doing out here? Yeah. Like you say, you see Ricochet contract fucking coming up. He better go to AEW. Let these people do what the fuck they want to do. Yeah. Like,
and they don't be online
I'm
that.
Not stay out of those shits, bro. It's weird, bro. Like these niggas are off.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so back to the original conversation about this promo. From a nigga that has like 25 tattoos, I will say the line work on this tattoo is egregious. He makes too much money. That's like besides getting your tattoo, like your employer tattooed on you, which I highly suggest no one ever do that. The line work is
when egregious. You sent this shit to the group chat like, would you get a swoosh tattoo tatted on you? And I was like, nigga, I seen niggas with swoosh tattoos tatted on them. Like that's a real thing.
Yeah, that is.
When I was working out at the Nike campus and I was out there and just seeing people come in on the heel, on the calf, Jordan tattoos tatted on them. Like I would never do no shit like that. But I've seen people, nigga, with the Nike swoosh tattoo. It's fucking insane to me. So yes, I wouldn't get that. You wouldn't get that. But there's a whole heap of people who got it right now. There's somebody listening to this podcast right now, like, hey, yo, y'all a little too loud.
If you work for them, then you shouldn't have it. You should never tattoo your employer.
Hell no.
If you're just
never,
if you're
bro.
If you're a fan, you're a fan of the swoosh. That's different. But to be working there, like when I worked at Starbucks, I'm not gonna get a goddamn Starbucks logo on me. No, this is my job. This is no. You don't do that. Don't get the Regal tat.
Somebody out there got the Wendy's logo tattooed on their back shoulder. Man. That's insane, bro. I could never. You are right. The tattoo was kind of crazy, but the thing about the tattoo is also in a spot you'll never see that tattoo.
But if he did actually leave, all he has to do is wear a long sock. He'll be Gucci.
You will never see it. Yeah. We like long boots, long sock, cover up. It's gonna happen.
But overall, I'm glad that he stayed. Yeah, we got into a crazy rant.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he needed to stay. He should have stayed.
He doesn't fit WWE. He thrives off of the shit that we just talked about, which is him talking and saying shit that's gonna get people riled up. Like WWE, you can't really do that. You not free reign. You do it inside the box, and we see Drew and Punk do that where like they can fucking battle it out. But like he needs to drop dipshits and shit turds and all that to get like that shit like riled up. He plays off of like the edgelord fucking like promos and whatnot. That's his bag, and you can get away with that in AEW. Overall, good to have MJF back. He was not on this week's Dynamite, which was kind of like what the fuck. But they did run a promo for him that he's gonna be on next week's Dynamite, which is just like a bait and switch thing to me. You're gonna get everybody tune into this week's Dynamite, looking for MJF, and then throw the promo of him coming next week, so that way you get double the fucking views.
Okay, real quick, because I almost forgot. My biggest gripe with this whole fucking thing, is that they should have teased him possibly showing up to this show.
Do you think so?
Yes, because they would have like. Again, not trying to pocket watch or anything like that, but they would have if they would have just like it doesn't have to be QR code shit, but like if if they would have just like possibly teased in any shape or form that he was going to possibly show up to the show, they would have sold like at least 2,000 more tickets, 3,000 more, and that's not even not just the tickets. That's not including the pay per view buy-ins. Similar to when
I
like
think
with Sasha or Mercedes, like they didn't say she was going to come,
big
but
business,
they
yeah.
suggested it or hinted at it. Like if they would have just hinted at,
But also be a must watch show.
or
Like
like
I
this pay per
that would
view,
have been
this
difficult.
pay per view is better than the last one, and you know it. They could have just did that, or just have a small random promo with Adam Cole, and he's like he misplaces the devil mask, and he's like, "Where's my mask at? Where's my mask at?" I don't know, any like just something.
And
It could have been.
that's why it'd have been difficult because like Adam Cole is not healthy. He's not. I don't think he's anywhere near close to being ready to go.
No, and that's why I think they
That's
nipped the
also like
story in
my
his bud. It seems like they're nipping the storyline in the bud.
immediately. Yeah, I think they put the cap on this fucking story. Not saying they won't wrestle down the line, but as far as like the Devil and the Undisputed Kingdom angle, that's just dead because you couldn't do it without Adam Cole. He's not healthy. They're both on two different like timelines of injury return. So you needed a quick fucking squash to it. Do I like it? No, because I was invested in like the whole Devil angle from last year, but it's been so long that's like I can't wait another 4 months until Adam, heals up if that's the case. Um, which leads into like why it would have been a little bit difficult to like say he's coming because we'd have expected some kind of Undisputed Kingdom like angle to have happened.
Well, we knew Roderick was going to
Um,
be in a match, so that means we know at least Wardlow and maybe Taven are going to be on the show. Like it.
so would you have
I'm just saying
done the promo side differently, or would you have had him interfere in the Osprey match? But then like that leaves nothing
no.
to
I would.
Osprey's not tagging with MJF.
I would have just had some like there's like because we're this is just off the top of the dome, but off the top of the dome, I gave like two different ways that they could have possibly done it. Like they had weeks for this show. They could have done any. It could have been a video package of Adam at home. Like he just stopped going to the shows, like literally like 3 weeks ago, because the healing was taking forever. Like either way, like they could have done something just to let us know, like, oh, there's a chance MJF might be at this show. They would have sold more tickets. They would have got more pay per view buys. And it didn't. It wouldn't. It didn't have to be something super egregious. It didn't have to be like Boss Town. They could. I don't know. Again, they could have. Someone could have found a ring on the floor. It could have been anything. I don't know. All I'm saying is like they should have teased him possibly showing up, because then you could have
I
capitalized more
think
on
that
the extra eyes. You would have got more eyes on it.
on the flip side of that, you're also trying to get more eyes on television. The TV side is what's going to give you the recurring like money. So like yes, he pops up on the pay per view, cool, but we know exactly that people are going to tune in Wednesday looking for him. So the numbers on Wednesday are going to be slightly up because you're looking for MJF. So we already win a little bit there, especially around the time of we're negotiating TV contracts anyway. We're just proving to you that we can have the numbers there. That Max is a draw, and then we say that it's going to be interesting what happens next week as far as like viewership. But right now it's negotiating time with WB, so you want your TV numbers to be as high as fuck so that you can get paid. They don't really get paid off of the pay per view, as far as like viewership, ticket sales, yes, and that is important. But you're trying to get that TV bag. That's what's more important for them in this moment. So yes, I do agree that there should have been a hint at it, like with Mercedes, but also understand with the situation that they're in right now, to where we got to solidify this TV money and make sure the numbers on TV are fucking insane. Uh, we get Death Triangle versus Bang Bang Gang. Um, Colton Gunn's working his ass off in this match.
Is that a
Of
pun?
course, it's regular Death Triangle shit. There's a whole bunch, huh?
Said, is that a pun or?
Uh, maybe, possibly. It wasn't intentional. Um, Jay White is working Pac, and at some point we got to get them 1-on-1. Overall, this is one of those matches that I felt like you could have took off the show, and that says a lot because I love Death Triangle and fucking the Lucha Bros. But we could have did this one on like a Dynamite or a Collision. The highlight of this match is that as the match is coming to the end, Death Triangle's getting the edge here. We get the return of Juice Robinson. and he sabotages Death Triangle to help Bang Bang Gang get the win. So shout out to Juice Robinson for coming back. Looks ready to go. Definitely.
Even if he's
I
not,
didn't understand.
they need him on the mic. He's the best promo in that whole
That's what I was
group.
gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. Is that like I didn't realize how much that he actually brought so much to their stable when he's there. He's very much so the mouthpiece and the energy that they definitely need. So it's gonna be interesting to see like where they go with that. We got Deeb versus Tony. I don't think I've seen a bad like Tony match yet. Let me rephrase that. I'll go back and look at that. I'll
This ending is ass.
definitely reiterate that. There you go. Here we go. We're gonna get into it. I don't like the finish to this match.
Ass.
Well,
It's ass, bro. It doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't make any sense because again, it's about the power. It's about the power rankings and shit. Like again, like how when we had the conversation, and not power rankings as in wins and losses, but power rankings on how like how strong is someone versus someone else. Because there was that one show where Swerve just takes a kill switch onto a belt and he's dead. And that same show, fucking Orange Cassidy takes a power driver on the steel steps and gets up with less than 2 minutes. There's multiple things that happen in this pay-per-view that are like that, to where it's like, why like, honestly, based off this show, and we'll get to it, I don't want to bury the lead, but Orange Cassidy and fucking Jungle Jack Perry are the strongest niggas in this entire company right now, as far as in Darby Allin, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I'm understanding, because you can't kill these people, so you barely can hurt them, and that's the problem with this fucking match. Sarita Deeb hit. I mean, I'm sorry if I'm fast forwarding, but she hit Toni Storm with her finisher outside and her finisher in the ring right after, just for a 2 count. So you're killing her finisher? Like, what was the point of that? How fucking strong is Toni Storm? And if that's the case, why is it Toni Storm after Toni Storm should go after Mercedes next then? Fuck it, be the belt collector. Niggas can't beat you.
Damn. Okay. All right. You are right in the sense that Toni did look crazy fucking strong in this match. More so to where like it's not at the point to where like she's like no selling shit, but there was like, you know, the finisher did get hit on twice, where she hit the finisher twice and she kicks out. And not saying we don't see that in AEW, because we see it all the time in the men's matches, but she did look Cena strong.
Right. It's like it's like it's a like whether it was Black and Gold, like Johnny Gargano, Adam Cole, like there's there's matches, and it's typically in the indies, but I feel like I feel like saying that makes it sound negative. But like, yes, there's matches where you have the false finishes and people are kicking out of finishers and shit. But also this is where the storytelling part is supposed to come into the wrestling part. Like, this is where it's supposed to mix a little bit. Because why the fuck, if I like it's like when Seth, like the Fiend, ate 13 curb stomps, and then like and he just gets up. Like, it's on some Jason shit. With this, it's like, I gave you my I don't remember what her finisher is. It doesn't matter. It's my finisher. If I give you the stunner on outside of the ring, and then I give you the stunner immediately in the ring, you should be dead. You should be done. But instead, you kick out at 2, you pop right back up, and then give me 2 power drivers, and then I'm dead.
Okay, wait. The power driver for the second rope was good.
It's
that
good.
shit was fucking amazing. That was dope.
It's fire, and I'm not knocking Toni for doing her 2 finishers, because then I feel like I'll be a hypocrite about the Cody did Logan Paul deserve a super finisher with 3 crossroads? I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. So like the two tombstones is fire. It's her kicking out of Serena's finisher twice, and again, it's one was outside, so that means it should be more deadly. It should be.
But there's also like I get what you're saying, because like you're kicking out of her finishers twice without any like story like elements to enhance that, to make that make sense. To where maybe, let's say on a collision, she got hit with the finisher twice and she lost or got pinned or whatever in a tag match or something like that.
Right.
To where you fast forward to, you know, Double or Nothing, she does it again in the ring for this pay-per-view and she kicks out twice, it would have more of an implications because like, oh damn, she tried to take her out like last time, it didn't work. Haha, now we can get the match going.
Similar to when
That
Cody
I
finally
get.
kicked
That
out the
makes
spike
sense.
spear combo. He lost the spike spear combo
Yeah, like
3 times, I think.
exactly.
And then on that 4th one,
You're right. You're right.
yeah, okay, no. Anyway, continue.
I get you.
Continue my bad.
Overall, like the match was good. I don't.
Yeah.
Besides the finish that we just talked about, that was the only like thing I did not. I guess I didn't like as much. Still very interested to see where like Toni Storm goes. This is also very interesting because like Serena was supposed to be the face in this match, and she was getting booed. And I was like, oh fuck, bro! Like you can't get over when the crowd wants the heel to win. Like, there's nothing that you could possibly do. And Serena was wrestling her fucking ass off of this match. Like, she was getting down. But, like, the crowd has already made their decision on who they want to win this match and who they want to, you know, see go forward. So, you kind of knew the writing was on the wall with that.
Yeah, this is why she should have lost a couple pay-per-views. Like, I don't remember if it was the Deanna one, her and Deanna 2, or if it was the Thunder Rosa one I was talking to you about. But I said in one of our older episodes, like, her character is giving off Fiend. It's the point where, like, no one wants this person. You don't want to boo this person. So whether they're like, and this obviously this company has they have a thing with heels and faces here, but like you don't want to boo Toni Storm. But now Toni Storm is literally beating everybody.
Right. And you don't want to get to the point to where it's unbelievable when she loses. Right. And I don't mean unbelievable in a good way. I mean in a bad way. Like, really, she lost to so-and-so? Like, especially after the run. So we got to start making it make sense.
Yeah, because, like, who are we going to build? Like, if the end game is Mariah May, then she's going to have to go on a crazy-ass streak. And also, she's going to have to figure out a crazy way to beat her. Because I just watched a woman give her 2 finishers, one on the outside, and it was not enough. So you're going to have to shoot. You're going to have to shoot this bitch. Like, or you know, let me bury the lead. You might have to hit her with a truck, hit her with a bus, because otherwise, how the hell are you beating Toni Storm? And yeah, this character is so beloved. Like, yeah, people don't want to see this character lose, and it's
right. You got to do this correctly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people gonna get uninterested in Toni because she's been going so long. So we gotta. I guess we'll know more. All in 2 months. So I would assume that we'll start getting like, you know, a direct idea of what that looks like and who she's going up against.
Yeah. At this point, I feel like she has to lose in a multi-person match or something, because like
that would probably make the most.
There's
sense.
No one.
I can see
there's
that
no one on
like
the roster.
Yeah,
there's no one on the roster that's believable. Unless they did Mercedes, but Mercedes is tied to another title, and I don't think they are going to do the double title shit. Although there hasn't been a woman that's done it yet, so I wouldn't be surprised. You know, I'm sorry I spoke that into existence. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, you are right. I think that there's reports that they're building like stories and shit like that for Shida, so Shida should be getting back in the mix soon.
Toni Storm.
We don't know what the status is of Jamie Hayter. We don't know the status of like, you know, Britt. Although I do think Britt's coming back during this year at some point. So we're gonna get something pretty soon. We still have I forgot her name from NWA coming over.
Camille.
She had been signed for a while. Camille. So like we have some talent that could step in, but once again, it's stories and like, you know, build up to get people interested in what's going on. So we'll see. We get Trent versus Orange Cassidy. This is the second match I think that we could have done without. It wasn't a bad match by any means, but there should have been a stipulation to this match. There should have been more than just a 1v1.
Yeah, match. Because the 1v1 2 weeks ago, they were already fighting outside for 10 minutes. Well, yeah, I think we talked about that last week. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, there should be a stipulation. But also at the same time, looking at the match card, like you have the FTW stuff, you have the Anarchy stuff, you have the cage. So
it was just loaded. Yeah. We talked about that in our predictions that it was just loaded with stipulation matches. Some noteworthy things in this was like Cassidy with his entrance. I believe the song is called "Where's My Mind." He changed it from his original song. He came out with the sunglasses, with the darker sunglasses, the black T-shirt, symbolizing that like maybe there could have been a turn here. that we thought was going to happen. As far as that, when the match does end, Trent's supposed to be getting interviewed by Renee. He says, "No, I'm done with this shit. I'm out. I can't. I'm not talking to nobody." He just walks away. Kind of similar to the sense of like, maybe somebody like, quitting the show or contract expiring, basically being written off in character. That didn't happen.
No, it didn't. And Orange Cassidy should not have won this match.
That didn't happen at all. Yeah, I will say that too. I don't think he should have won. I think you do a lot more by him losing and Trent gaining the win here.
Yeah, especially after what happened the following show.
Yeah, because we'll talk about it. We can talk about it. On like Dynamite, he comes out to sign the contract to be part of the Don Callis family, and he rips up the contract and whatnot.
Cassidy.
Yeah, Cassidy rips up the contract, and spoiler alert, we get a heel stat coming out talking about how, like, she's speaking on behalf of her friend here, or her best friend, and that turns into Trent Beretta, who comes out and attacks Orange Cassidy, and he signs the contract into being involved with the Don Callis family. So Trent Beretta is going to be a part of the Don Callis family. Stat is up in the air as far as what Stat's going to be doing as of right now. And Orange Cassidy is in this limbo phase. So we don't know what the hell is going to happen there, but I would expect that maybe Trent needs the tutelage of Don Callis to finally get over the Orange Cassidy hump, if that's the story that they're trying to tell.
Yeah, I'll be quick about this. I didn't like any of that shit. It doesn't make any sense. Chris Statlander was just real life boyfriend and girlfriend with Orange Cassidy, just out there crying after he got fucking hit in the head with the steel steps with a power driver and all this other shit. And then you betray your boyfriend for what? What is the motivation? There is none. And then again, Trent should have won this pay-per-view. Trent takes he signs the contract, and they attack Orange Cassidy, who for whatever reason is still able to come out later and do his match. Take him out of the fucking match. If you're going to give Trent heat, if you want to make him hated and make him seem strong, because you already beat him, then when he attacked Cassidy on this Dynamite, Cassidy shouldn't have showed back up. Again, power stuff. Like power ranking shit. Cassidy, as of right now, Cassidy, Jungle Boy, and Darby Allin are the strongest people on this entire show as far as I'm concerned. You can't take them down.
And only one of them actually makes sense to be like that. I think with Jack, you kind of have to work him differently.
No, we're going to talk about this
because
last
he just
match
came
now,
back.
because that shit, what happened is egregious, my nigga. Egregious.
All right, let's get into it.
But yeah, Cassidy wins.
We got the Jericho. Yeah, Cassidy wins. He's super fucking over and strong. But I think like the storyline that they're going to tell is that with Stat turning on Willow and Orange Cassidy losing his best friend, I think you're going to find something. You're going to find a mixed tag between Cassidy and Willow versus like Trent and Stat at some point. At least that's what I think. I'm not no booker, but I think that'd be interesting.
Tony hinted that he wants to add more titles, and one of the set of titles that he would like to add is mixed match.
He did, but
intergender.
We got to worry about the ones that we got right now, and I think he's doing a pretty solid job at that because the people that he just signed all hold the gold right now. Which is what you're supposed to do with top talent anyway. If I'm paying you this much money, I'm paying you this much money so you can bring prestige and like eyes to the division that you're in. Jericho Hook versus Shibata. This is also a collision match that we could have had. Not saying it was a bad match, but just like placement of this didn't really make any sense. It was entertaining because we do get some spots to where like people are getting slammed on dice, which it just fits the theme of like Vegas and whatnot. And I don't know if you ever stepped on some dice, but getting slammed on 20 of them doesn't sound very, therapeutic.
No, it's not.
There was a Shibata table spot that he overshot like crazy. There was a lot of shit that happened in this match that
he almost fucking
could have
died
been fucking
on some Final Destination shit.
That's not funny. It's not, but like I swear to you, bro, I saw that shit and I was like, that's the second table spot in this match that was like could have went fucking bad. Like And we're to not talk about the Shibata spot. In this match, Big Bill takes, a table spot and literally 2 inches to the
Oh,
left.
it was him. So yeah,
It's a wrap.
someone almost got Final Destination, and it's like, what the fuck, you guys?
It was Big Bill.
Like, that
Yeah.
should have.
That shit was fucking crazy. But that also would have been like some freak accident shit. It wasn't like intentional.
Well,
It
yeah,
was
of
just like
course.
the way
Yeah.
the table just broke. Like that was fucking insane. Jericho is over. He get not over, but he gets saved by bounty hunter Keith. I saw mixed reaction, not mixed. I saw a lot of like, fuck, bro. Like, why is he with Jericho? Here we go, another one in the Jericho vortex. And I was like, oh, yeah, probably
First
right.
black guy to be a part of this crew, I think. So, sure, at least that's something.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy because like I thought this was gonna be like I thought it was Scorpio Sky. I thought this is what the promo that he had on at the collision that week before. I thought this is what that was leading into, or 2 weeks before, and it was not. So I was like, okay, well, if it's not Scorpio Sky, who the fuck is under this mask? It was Brian Keith, and I was even more confused. But I guess I don't know. He does a promo on Dynamite, and he was like, Jericho's disrespected. Nobody respects him. It was a good promo because he can obviously talk, but it's just for his like motivation to help Jericho. I just didn't really like understand it.
Yeah, no, it's the same shit
Like
as the
he's just
appreciation. Like, yeah, the whole appreciation society was about respected Derek. Man, bruh, if this man.
Oh fuck yeah, I don't know, man. This one kind of took me out the loop. I will say that a good thing that's coming out of this feud is that on Dynamite, uh, Hook comes out to confront Jericho again, but this time he's met by Joe, and Joe takes him by the shoulders and gets him out of there. Like he whispers into his ear, Hook just leaves with Hook leaves with Joe. So we are definitely getting a Joe Hook tag or stable, maybe Joe Hook Shibata, and I'm okay with that. I think that's going to be fucking dope. I think if there's anybody who can like help Hook out when it comes to like promos and like talking, it's fucking Samoa Joe.
Yeah,
they wrestle not the same kind of style, but they're very aggressive in their styles of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Joe is the perfect like teacher for Hook.
Yeah,
I think this is great.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, yeah, we talked about it during the prediction show. Yeah, I'm down for that team. I'm down.
We get the Mox Takeshita eliminator match. This pissed me off a little bit, which is wild because these are two talent that I really fucking enjoy.
Should've been on the show,
but it's more so, and I'll explain why. I agree with you, and I'll explain why. They labeled this as like an eliminator match, and Takeshita loses.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what's the purpose of making this an eliminator match with the title's not on the line and he loses when you can just make this a title match and he loses and nothing, no harm, no foul.
That's
like we don't need to label this as eliminator if he loses. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Word for word what we talked about last week. And also now I have a question which I'm asking out loud. So I'm not. You don't have to answer this, but if you can give me an answer at some point, that would be great. Has anyone ever won an eliminator match? I mean, whether it was all 5 years, but I mean, for sure, this is in 2024. I don't think anyone has won an eliminator match. What is the fucking point then?
I would have to go back.
Yeah, no, that's a question on the spot. I'm not. Yeah, you don't need to answer that right now or anything.
Yeah, well,
if someone else can answer that's fine too. But like, eliminating matches, like we talked about last week, they're essentially number one contender matches. It's just a different name for it. It's a number one contender match.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's a number one contender match against the champion. If you beat the champion, then you'll get a title shot. So yeah, exactly everything you just said. What again? This is a pay-per-view. So why are you having a number one contenders match against a champion on a pay-per-view? Makes no sense. Just have the fucking title match. But
off a quick Google, the two that did win was MJF when he went off against Takeshita, and Jamie Hayter when she went off against the Bunny. So yes, there has been two people who have won eliminator matches who have then gone on to win, the title. So it's not a complete overshot, but this is last year. They have a history. We have a history of somebody winning.
Wait, MJF beat Takeshita.
But yes.
Okay, but Takeshita wasn't a champion at that point. So that's a different kind. It's an eliminator, but that's a different kind of eliminator versus like what we just saw with Moxley and Takeshita. Or
like a champion eliminator.
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
yes, okay. So there's eliminators and then there's champion eliminators. Sweet Christmas, just
correct.
yeah. That's just too much. That's just a
It
hat
was,
on top
but
of a
it's
hat.
done. Yeah, it's done when two top talent have the same record, and like, okay, well, one of us has to be the number one contender, so we'll just duke it out. We're both 13-0. Let's just fucking duke it out, and then whoever wins goes on to face the champion.
That makes sense. But the
But yes,
ones facing the champion doesn't make sense. Like when Dustin Rhodes fought Samoa Joe the week of Mania, or then there was the fucking the other couple weeks ago, Swerve versus the fuck that Don Cal.
Fletcher.
Yeah, for what? He didn't win a single match. Like, I don't know. It's just it's weird.
You're not wrong.
When it comes to first seed and number and like, 2 seed, no, that makes sense. Like that actually makes sense. But eliminators versus the actual champion, to me, it just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense.
And I don't know if this was the first version of that.
Like this year,
I don't know if this was just like the champion versus like somebody for an eliminator, because like the Swerve match was a championship match.
The one versus Dustin Rhodes was
this is the first time
or no, the one versus Fletcher was an eliminator.
It was an eliminator. Okay, I got to take
Swerve versus Fletcher. Okay, I'm pretty sure that was an eliminator. Yeah. And then Dustin Rhodes versus Samoa Joe Mania weekend, that was an eliminator. And then this one was an eliminator. So at least this year, there's been 3 eliminators.
They've done 3
against champions.
I don't think if that's the case, and I have to go back and do my research. But if that's the case, then I don't really like the idea of championship eliminators, unless the non-champion is winning, then that makes sense. But like, if the champion just wins, then just put the title on the line.
Exactly. Like you're just saying, you're just throwing in extra words for no reason.
We also got to throw in Mox in that unbeatable category too. And I love Mox, but there's some shit that's like, he was beat down, shoulder bruised. He had no arm, and he still beat like a healthy Takeshita.
Yeah,
you're my guy, Mox, and I love Jon Moxley, but like this, come on, especially in an eliminator match that doesn't really make any sense to like for Takeshita to lose, unless this is just a New Japan thing.
Well,
maybe it's like they didn't want this.
Yeah, no, sorry to cut you off. No, because we talked about it last week. I do think that there is some truth to that. But then I feel like, okay, let's say that's 100% truth. Back to you and I's original point, if that's the case, this could have just been a Dynamite main event then. Take this off the fucking card.
It's true. Which is why he takes it off the absolutely. Absolutely. You're not wrong. I'm with you. Yeah. We get into
this bullshit.
Copeland versus Malakai fucking Black. Bullshit. This was great up until Cope comes out with the Brood entrance. He comes out with the new song. I forgot what it was, but it's on my Spotify playlist because this shit was fucking hard. I definitely put this in the gym playlist. Comes out to the Brood. Cope is the black or the red light and the evil spooky shit. Immediately into the match, Malakai gets barbed wire into the head. He's the first one to start bleeding. We get some Cope doing power bombs against the cage. Like they're actually trying to like body each other in here. The sun flips off the ropes into the table by Malister. Like just really dope fucking spots. Until we get this is funny. My notes I says, Copeland is tripping. Malakai gets wrapped into the barbed wire, and he's on top of the table. Cope then climbs the fucking cage, and from what they say, is like it's a 15-foot drop,
15 to 20.
I'm watching this man climb this cage. It's definitely 20 for sure.
Pretty sure it's 20.
But I'm watching this man climb this shit. I'm like, what angle is he doing here? I thought Malakai was going to get up. You know how people get up and pull the leg down? No, he just kept climbing. And I'm like, he's not about to fucking jump off of the fucking cage. Like, no way Copeland, age 50, is about to do this shit. And and as it's happening, I'm thinking about like spots that he can do if this is going to be the case. That's the safest for him because of his neck injury. And I don't know what that looks like right now. I don't know if he can take, a good, solid, hard bump. But he's up there, and I'm like, okay, maybe he does. He's not doing a backdrop. That's not gonna, or like a Darby coffin drop. He's not doing a fucking splash. I'm like, okay, maybe a leg drop makes the most sense here. If you can hit him like in the middle or like upper chest area, you can go through the table with a leg drop. I'm okay with that. This man does none of that shit. He jumps off the goddamn cage 2 feet down for an elbow drop.
Dumbest shit in the world. Like he is too smart. He is too educated in this field to have done that. And the only reason I think the reason he did that was, I think he got scared or he hesitated at the very last second. But
I think he hesitated.
What he should have done. I mean, he shouldn't have done the spot at all. Let's just cut to the. He shouldn't never done the spot. But if anything, he should have just did a frog splash, or just a regular splash.
That's what I'm thinking. Like,
because you can protect your neck.
But at the same time, the nigga was wrapped in barbed wire. He's like, I can't take the barbed wire to the chest. But that's a way better alternative to what ended up happening, and he ends up fucking breaking his fucking leg.
Yeah,
which is absolutely insane.
He breaks his tibia and something else. But they still finished the match, and he still went over.
And everybody, he did.
And before all that, if I'm not mistaken, he kicked out of so much shit. He kicked out of the I don't know what they call it in this on AEW, but he kicked out the black mass. He kicked out of a table spot. And it's like, and like I've listened to, like how I tell you, I listened to multiple different shows, like, and this was I did not notice this until I heard it from two different types of different people in different parts of the land. He has like since he's come back to wrestling as a whole, the only feud he has lost is the one against Roman Reigns.
He ain't put nobody over.
He has not put any single fucking person over.
I saw that shit too. He ain't put nobody over. And if I had known that prior to going into like our predictions, I would have said something differently. But they're absolutely right. He has not put anybody over, especially when he be talking about, I'm here to put the young guys over, put somebody in the spotlight. And it's like, you ain't put nobody over yet.
No, like he should have lost. He should have lost against Finn. I did see
that shit too.
He should have lost this fucking match.
Finn, absolutely.
He's won every single fucking feud that he's been a part of.
Yeah,
and it's but people have the nerve to call Becky Hogan and shit and all this other stuff. But this old head also. Anyway.
Yeah. He breaks his leg. He's continuing the match because after that we get the biggest fucking sell of House of Black siding with Cope, and at that moment, the selling that Malakai was doing, I was like, damn, this is actually happening. And it turns out it was just like they got us. It was sold very fucking well. That House of Black did not turn on Malakai. They end up attacking Cope. They get him back into the ring, and we get somebody punching through the bottom of the ring, and we get a gangrel, which I called that shit.
Yeah,
I said it. I said it was gonna happen, and it worked. It looked good. He looked good with the spots that he was doing. It helped the crowd fucking popped. Like I was okay with it. Like that shit was kind of cool. That was really cool to see.
It was cool. Yeah, it was. I have no complaints about it. Copeland.
Gangrel helps Edge get helps Cope. No, absolutely not. Gangrel helps Cope get the win. In my thoughts is like Cope definitely should have lost, especially after this motherfucker knew his leg was fucked up. Like you just audible. Unless there's something going on with Alice or Malakai that we don't know, and I don't know.
It's that he doesn't win single matches like that.
Circuit.
He barely gets single matches.
That shit was fucking crazy.
I told you he wasn't going to win this shit, bro. This is ridiculous.
That's heartbreaking, bro. That was trash.
In hindsight, I'm glad that they didn't do the House of Black turn, because in hindsight, it would have been stupid as shit because Adam's hurt now. So
you had to go back. Yeah, you have to go back on that. Yeah. Unless they found out in the ring. Unless they found out, like when they came out, ref whispered like, "Yo, he broke his leg. Don't turn." Which is audibles that could have happened on the spot.
Just let Malakai win and he can lose it next week or something. But now we're gonna have another fucking tournament.
Yeah, So, I mean, we're gonna talk about that real quick too. I did see that after this match that the article popped up from Chris Van Vliet, and he was talking about how Cope wanted to get Gangrel for 39, but nobody at Mania was like going for it. I think the quote was, "Nobody even knows who he is," kind of thing, and that unfortunate. Because I don't know.
Goddamn Terminator 2.
At Mania, like WWE fans would have known who Gangrel was. Just at least I would hope so,
Yeah, no,
or maybe they wouldn't. I don't
I
fucking
think
know. But it was just a little. It was a little like disheartening to hear.
yeah, and yeah, I mean that art in that interview came up before the show, and that's why I didn't even question your guess, because to me that was a spoiler. But yeah, no, I again, like, when it comes to wrestlers, and I treat them like actors. I take everything with a grain of salt. I can't imagine Triple H saying no one knows who Gangrel is. Maybe Vince or something.
No, I think that's a VK.
Yeah, like, I know, like, yeah, they could easily have done it. Especially because he would have attacked. It would have been a 1-for-1 exactly what would have happened during the Hell in a Cell against Finn. So
Absolutely, yeah. I did mention the finish of this match it wasn't a pin. It was a crossface and the barbed wire, and Malakai just like passed out. He didn't tap. He was just out cold kind of thing.
Yeah,
so
which is frustrating. Also,
it was still like a protected finish, but it could have been a solid win for like Malakai.
I mean, he didn't tap, but he passed. He put a nigga to sleep, bro. Like, that ain't that protected to me. And also, Malakai knows legit combat sports, bro. I don't like. Well, actually, no. The reason they probably, it's not his first time choking somebody out, but again, yeah, no. The reason they did it is probably because he couldn't hit the spear. So
yeah, you might be right.
I just don't
audible to finish because you can't do what he that you could be right,
and that's if it's audible, because Malakai.
Speaking of tournaments,
bullshit. It would have been some bullshit.
True.
So.
Absolutely. The tournaments was announced for the Owen Hart Cup. The winners of the men's and women's division, similar to the King of the Ring, will go off to have championship matches at All In. So that tournament, I think they said kicks off in July. I think.
Okay, I have another history.
I think
I have a history question for you. Because I don't know.
Okay, here we go.
Is this the third one or second one? Owen Hart tournament, and then this second part of that question is because I remember the first one, it was Adam Cole and Britt Baker, and if to my knowledge they didn't get title matches. So is this
no?
So okay, so this is a new stipulation.
And then Willow won one. I thought Willow was. I think this is the third one.
Okay, so this is the third one. So I guess so. Did the stipulation happen in the second one? You don't have to answer this right now. I don't want to have dead air time or nothing, but I don't. Yeah, because I don't remember the second one at all.
Second one was Ricky and Willow. They're the one they won last year. Ricky beat Punk, and Willow beat Ruby.
Okay, I don't. Yeah. Okay, I don't remember. Well, I don't recall Ricky ever having a AEW championship match, so I'm gonna say this is a new stipulation then, until someone corrects us. Which is
probably
which is cool.
I know.
It's better than just getting.
I don't want it to be like they do it the week after WWE. This is how it should be. Tournaments should come with stakes on both sides. If you are in this tournament, we should have winners that go on to challenge champions.
What?
Otherwise, what's the point of having this?
Wait, are people saying that like, oh, they're just copying King of the Ring?
I saw some of those comments.
Yeah, no, that's bullshit. Especially because the King of the Ring one is an old one that they finally brought back. But no, I wouldn't say this is copying. I think it's fine. It needs stakes. It needs more stakes than just a prop title that you're never going to see on TV. Because Adam Cole and Britt had that title for like a week or two, and then it didn't do anything.
Yeah, I think with something called the Owen Hart Cup, it needs to have a title attached to it. Owen Hart's a fucking legend. Like, let's make this a prestige fucking event. Um, it's interesting because the winners are going to challenge at All In. So I have no idea what the fuck is going to happen at All In. I thought I knew it was going to happen at All In, but that proved to be wrong. Um, yeah, we'll talk about that in the next match. Next up is CEO Mercedes Moné versus Willow Nightingale, and off the rip, Mercedes did not lose a step at all. She still looks great in the fucking ring. Willow is also fucking amazing. I went into the strongly wanting Willow to retain, and she proved why she should retain because she was just as fucking dominant in the match. For a good majority of the good first half of the match, she was in there like fucking dominating. Like, it wasn't until Mercedes takes the David versus Goliath approach of, like, just knocking out limbs, knocking out her knees and her legs and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
Willow is fucking amazing. Mercedes amazing. Gear for both women was fucking fire. We get, Dr. Bombs early. Electric chair drops into the like German suplexes. Like, Willow is just on fucking point. We get like, what you got?
I was gonna say, yeah, no, good match. Both women did great for what it was. I don't. To me, it doesn't seem like they have the greatest chemistry. It's not like they don't have any chemistry, but I don't think they have the greatest chemistry. And then also Mercedes needs to change that finisher, man. It's too It's
Yeah.
way too convoluted. Like
I I
it's too convoluted.
that was going to be my take, is that she ends up hitting her new finisher to secure the win in this, but it was just the setup of it. Like, I was impressed that she was carrying Willow to the middle of the ring while she was doing it, but it's like you can't do that on everybody night in night out. Like,
Yeah.
that's not a one that you can just pull off like at any given moment. So she needs like
Well, to
either
be fair, I
that and
think
like a secondary finisher
I think Willow,
or something.
besides Nyla Rose, who I don't can't remember the last time she was on Dynamite TV. I think Willow is one of the heavier weights in the women's division there. So hitting the finisher shouldn't be too complicated. It's just that it depends on who sells it, and also again, it's convoluted. The setup just takes it's awkward. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because like she hooks the arms from the back and then
And
like
they
the spin.
they have to hook their
Yeah,
legs around
it's
your legs, and then yeah, you have to spin. I don't know,
yeah.
it's just convoluted. Like it looked cool the first couple times against the smaller, more petite
The
like
smaller,
Joshi
yeah, smaller
talent. Which
talent.
I mean, again, like they're like, but Nia Rose and
She
Willow,
did it on Sky Blue this week and it looked good on Sky
yeah,
Blue too.
and Sky Blue, again, yeah, because I mean, most of their division is women that are in the same body build with her. Again, yeah, Willow and Nyla are probably the bigger ladies in the division, but even then, it's still just a again convoluted ass move. Just I don't know.
Yeah.
Like what's
Um
I don't know.
it would either way, like, finish the match. The match is overall good. I do think we both agree that she definitely like look at different setups of like finishers, and we just fans, so we don't really know shit. But from the optics, it was like, damn, maybe you should, try something different. Um we get Stokely spazzing on Willow after the match. As he's spazzing on Willow, Stat comes out and pushes, Stokely to the ground. At that moment, it's like, okay, well, Stat is choosing Willow over Stoke. Um, and then as they walk up the stage, as Stat's walking stage, Stat attacks Willow and or turns on Willow and joins Stokely. So now we have Willow losing her best friends at the end of this match, which shows you where they're going with their next story.
Yeah,
And now we have Stat on this heel warpath with Stoke.
yeah. I'm not happy with it. I mean, it was very predictable. I assume Stat was the
Yeah.
one that attacked Mercedes in the dark weeks ago, which we'll find out that it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
her. But this attack should not have happened on the show. Like one of AEW's problems when it does come to like big moments is that sometimes they don't let shit breathe. Like this, like we should have
Yep.
solely like fixated on Mercedes celebrating her win, and Willow and her team of Stoke and Chris looking concerned, maybe side eyeing her. But this attack should have happened on Wednesday. Like they don't let shit breathe. Like when Adam Cole debuted,
Yeah.
then fucking Daniel debuts 3 minutes after. Like you gotta let shit breathe. That's how you create the fucking moments. But yeah, and yeah,
It is true.
yes.
I agree that it should have like been spaced out. Yeah.
But Willow did a great job. She shows why she's a star. The crowds have loved
Amazing
her
star.
over the weeks. Like she's one of the talent that the audience chose. She wasn't forced down their throats. Like they chose Willow. They love Willow. Everyone loves Willow. She seems like a really awesome ass person. I feel a little bad in the sense that like it was pretty predictable that she was going to be a transitional champion. She had that title for 30 days, but
Yeah, you called it out. Yeah.
again, it's also Mercedes. You kind of had to do the job. Um, I
Yep.
just hope she doesn't get super forgotten about.
Pushed down.
Yeah, we'll see what happens around All In, but hopefully she stays in that top spot because she has been really dependable, really reliable. Again, fans love her. She's over, so
She worked her ass off to get there. I think, and maybe I'm looking at it from the sense that maybe Willow kind of like outperformed the TBS championship. Like maybe she is supposed to be that main women's title, like, division and whatnot. Because I look at TBS championship as like a women's like IC belt, to where it's like good for mid carders to like get in and get your feet wet, and from there, if you do have main level talent and attraction, we can just push you into like that women's category.
yeah. You're not wrong. The only caveat though is that now Mercedes has that mid card, like so. And we know
exactly
because we're not a dumb audience. We know that she got paid a lot of money. We know that she's a star because that's how they present her. So that makes that mid card title feel equally just as important as the other title. As it should, just like
almost a little bit.
Yeah.
Well,
it depends on the show because sometimes which is a problem. But it's a good thing that they do make the mid cards feel important, similar to what Gunther did with IC and all this other shit, but you can't also like you have to make the main titles feel important, which was been my complaint with Swerve stuff versus like Moxley. Like it seems like the New Japan title is more important because Moxley has it, and Moxley is one of their main motherfuckers. Like second, and I think he has the most reigns with AEW.
I know what they're going
to blah blah blah, but
I think I know what they're doing, and we'll get into Swerve. I know what they're trying to do here. At least I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, great match between the women. Once again, you pay these people to be stars.
Mm-hmm.
So now we got Okada with a belt, Ospreay with a belt, Mercedes with a belt. It makes sense. These are the ones we just paid. We need them to usher in this new TV deal. We need them to usher in this audience. You guys are the ones that people wanted to see. So we're gonna keep pushing y'all. We had Swerve versus Christian Cage. This was a good initial like title defense for Swerve. It wasn't like a terrible match by any means. It was a good match. He had a power bomb. He had a scoop slam into a power bomb that was like fucking like insane, or a power bomb to a scoop slam that was fucking dope in here. It reminded me of like one of those created finishers that you used to do in like SmackDown versus Raw. Like you just create the most loopy fucking shit and somehow it end up into a suplex. You start in like a Hurricanrana and then end up in an F5. There's a little bit of interference from Mama Wayne in this.
Everyone in their mom came out.
It was
Brian Cage came out.
But it ends up kicking. Yeah,
Nick came out.
Brian Cage came out?
Yeah. If I remember correctly, Brian Cage came out. Nick Wayne came out. Nick Wayne's mom came out. Nana, I believe, came out. And I don't think Killswitch did.
I got Killswitch, Mama Wayne, and Nick Wayne. I ain't got on Brian Cage. I must have missed that. That'd have been crazy. I could have
sworn he did because he was part of the mogul stuff, but maybe I'm tripping. Could have sworn he also came out. But
yeah, there's some interference in this match. They kicked Nana out because it makes it look like Nana was the one causing the chaos and interference. That wasn't the case. Eventually, everybody gets kicked out from ringside. Nana comes out chasing, I believe, somebody with a steel pipe. to like out the crowd or whatnot, or through the crowd. Dope spot in this match was the mid-air house call. Like Cage was going for a spear, Swerve goes for the fucking house call. Dope fucking spot. Dope fucking like the way it was shot. Solid.
Yeah.
And he ends up getting the win over Christian Cage here. On Dynamite, he has a match with Killswitch, which overall not a bad match, but Killswitch took 2 house calls, I believe, in this match, or 2 stomps, and it ended on a house call. Like, it just made Killswitch look like some Jurassic Park like T-Rex monster you couldn't defeat. So I'm pretty sure that puts like a bow on, and that's true. It puts a bow on the patriarchy like angle. Actually, I know it does, because we find out that Will Ospreay will be fighting Swerve at Double or Nothing. Before I talk about it, I want to know your
I thought we
thoughts.
just watched Double or Nothing.
Or my bad, Dynamite. My bad. All right, they're at Forbidden Door.
My thoughts. This is stupid as shit. Wait, you talking about the Will Ospreay title match against Swerve, right?
Yeah, no. Will Ospreay, Swerve, Forbidden Door.
Stupid as shit. So yeah, no, again, Will should never have been in that match. Doing this match, I don't. A problem AEW has, they like to rush to the dream matches. Like, this is something you guys could wait for. It seems like they're not doing title for title. It seems like it's only going to be for Swerve stuff. So now we're in another predicament. Like, are you going to piss off the fans and have this end with like a DQ or some shit, or do you beat one of these people? Is Will becoming a double champ, or does Swerve solidify himself as someone who's better than Will, even though, how the world feels about Ospreay, like Ospreay's supposed to be the new Goku in this bitch. Like, so is Swerve going to beat Ospreay, or is Will going to be a double champion? Now that MJF is back, I can see the argument to whoever is the champion. You could have MJF fight them at Wembley. I can see that argument, but I feel like you could have that argument without this particular match happening. Okay,
so when I saw it, very confused. Dope fucking match, by the way. The Casino Royale. Shout out to Leo Rush. Leo Rush came back, and he was in that. I think he also wrestled on Collision tonight.
Yes, I think against Roderick Strong.
Yes. Also, shout out to Hechicero. Dope fucking superstar. He came out fucking killing shit. Love him fucking wrestling. Need more of that. But yeah, Will Ospreay ends up winning this, and I watched it and I was like, okay, now what? What the fuck do we do here? I thought it was gonna be Wembley. Everybody's like, okay, they're gonna battle out, Wembley, and like, nope, we're gonna get this shit this month in fucking New York. So here's my thing. I think it's gonna be the latter. I think he's gonna end up beating Will. Similar to what we said, that like you need people to take off to make you serious. Like, you need a solid one where like, oh shit, he beat Will Ospreay. He's the fucking AEW champion. I think this does more for Swerve than it does anything for Will. And I think it does more for AEW in the sense of like, hey, we can super level, Swerve up as our AEW champion if he beats the person that nobody thinks he's going to beat. They have history before where they've wrestled plenty of times before on like the indie circuit and whatnot. They have a pod together where they talk about wrestling each other, and you can tell they're really good friends. So they have great chemistry, or they don't have a pod together, but he's on the episode of his pod. And you can tell they have really good chemistry there. One thing I did notice from when I did listen to like the episode of Will and Swerve is that their ultimate goal is just to put AEW on the map, no matter what it looks like. And so I strongly feel like that's probably what they're going to do, is blow this shit up to the fucking moon. It's going to be a great fucking match between the two. I don't want it to end in a draw. Could I see it doing it because AEW has a history of that? Yes. But I think it does more for AEW and Swerve as a champion if he does get this win on Ospreay.
Based on that pitch, I can see it. And my thing is, it's too logical. So I do not think they're going to do it. um, no, yeah, that's too logical. Because it's similar to like Cody versus Logan, and yeah, and this would be a good. This would shut down the transitional conversation. Yeah, if he beat Will, it's
Absolutely.
not gonna hurt Will if he lost. But yeah, no, man, I think that's too logical. So yeah, I feel like
No,
I
it
feel like
is
it.
because I try to use logic for Copeland and Malakai. That shit didn't work.
Yeah,
See how that shit
yeah,
turned
I think
out?
it's either going to be a draw or Swerve wins, but he wins.
Will's
He
double.
wins because of uh interference. Maybe Callis finally fucks up, and then we
Oof.
start the him versus the Callis feud or something. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think Will's losing clean. So I think it's going to be a draw or it's going to be interference,
Oof.
and they'll run it back at Wembley, or I don't know. But
They can't because the winner of the cup, unless Will is in the cup in
oh
July,
yeah, well shit. I honestly,
which him winning the Casino Royale and then him winning the own cup back to back would be like some booking yourself kind of shit. Like that's kind of crazy.
yeah. Well, we got to see who's in a tournament. Fuck, MJF might win that Owen Hart. Honestly,
That's true too. We're gonna see. Yeah. Very interesting shit happening with Swerve and like his title reign or like where that's gonna go. But now we get to the main event, the last match of the show, Anarchy in the fucking arena, and it was just that. I don't know what I was expecting from this match. I can tell you it wasn't this, but it was fun as fuck to watch as a fucking like a viewer. Chaotic as fuck, very fun. This was after all the wrestling graps and raps you got in this pay per view. This was just pure fucking bullshit, like pure whatever you can think of. It happened in this match. Entrances don't even happen. I think one entrance does. I think the Young Bucks entrances does, and then after that they just come out scrapping.
yeah. Well, yeah, they
I
make
knew
a
this shit was
bit.
gonna be
They
crazy
do a bit
when.
about Brian coming out, and they're like, it costs 250,000 every time this song plays or some shit. Or
Well,
was that
no,
last
that
week?
was because no, that was this week. But the spin on that was uh they're in the Matt's in the crowd and he's like, play the hottest song, which is like their entrance song. Daniel's like, don't play this dumb shit. Play the best fight song ever, and they play Final Countdown. And that was the bit where like it costs us $200,000 every time this song, plays. So it was dope to see. Like, it would remind me of like some Will Ferrell fight scene. Like, just it doesn't make any sense. Final Countdown's playing. People are drinking beer at the fucking vendor. Darby got on a mask full of like made out of thumbtacks. I'm like, oh fuck, this is about to be one of those. Um, it it's just overall fun. Uh, we get coffin drops out of the crowd. Okada calling out Rainmaker Drive, literally like it's out of a Will Ferrell film. Um, During this match, we see Jack Perry get dunked in like an ice bath. And I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. Like, why the fuck did you just dump him in water? Like, all right. And so he's in this bit with Darby backstage where they're fighting, and he throws Darby into like this pile of like just trash or whatever, and takes a truck and like runs over the pile of like fucking debris or whatever, symbolizing maybe Darby got hit.
By
Darby
a
did not get
fucking
hit, but
bus.
it's also funny because it's a spin exactly. It's a spin on Darby getting hit by a fucking bus. Um, that shit was funny.
He didn't get hit, but
From
kayfabe
here
wise,
we
until he
get
shows back up, kayfabe wise, he should be dead. I just want to,
yeah, absolutely.
just want to reiterate that.
Kayfabe wise, he shouldn't get back up.
But spoiler, he does. Part of
Oh,
my problem. But continue.
oh
Continue.
yeah, yeah, he gets up. Um, he there's some spike pile drivers from FTR. I put on the note. I said everybody on Team AEW is bleeding right now. Like even Daniel's bleeding, and I don't think you see Daniel bleed a lot, but like this motherfucker was busted open. Um, Somebody ends up biting fucking Okada's finger in this. Oh, Cash. They end up dragging Darby uh through the elevator in the middle, like their entrance. and it's looked at like, okay, Darby is fucking gone. He's put on an elevator. Cool, whatever. While this is happening, Jack is nowhere to be fucking found. He is assumably knocked out, or he was knocked out, kayfabe wise, from the crash into the fucking trucks in the back. As this is going on, and we see that Jack is going through backstage, and he finds TK and drags TK out. You know, just symbolizing more of the "I don't fuck with you" kind of thing, and I'm gonna fucking fuck you up. As he's dragging TK out, Darby comes back up the elevator, and he has the fucking flamethrower in his hand, similar to how Dynamite ended last or the week before that, the fucking flamethrower. And I'm like, there's no way in hell anybody's getting lit on fire. No possible fucking way. And sure as shit, Jack gets set on fire. And I should have known this because while the spot was getting set up, the Young Bucks are next to like big ass fucking fire extinguishers, like just abnormally large fire extinguishers, and kind of like placed next to the entrance, which I was like, that's kind of interesting. Why is that there? Oh fuck, they're gonna light this man on fire. Shit. And it actually happened. He gets hit up with the flamethrower. He gets lit on fire. Definitely didn't see that shit coming. Didn't think they were gonna do it. Didn't think that Jack was gonna be the one to get lit on fire. I definitely thought like if anybody was gonna get lit on fire, it's gonna be Darby, the man that survived every fucking thing. And
he got taxed to the face,
yeah,
and got hit by a bus. The last thing he needs to be doing is setting up
broken.
Okay, so
see, that's what you would have said until like,
because later he gets hung up. He gets hung up by his feet, and he's just dangling.
Exactly, he gets hung upside down. He gets hung upside down, and I'm watching this shit and watching this man like, oh yo, he's trying to kind of blue. He's just dangling there like, hey, we gotta get this man down. So much so that the crowd is like, please help Darby.
Yeah, and
when your crowd is like, yo, get him.
And the fucking visual looks insane because while he's just dangling, you got Daniel Bryan getting ready for the the Shining Wizard and shit with the chair in his hand doing the yes chants. And it's like, bro, your dude is dangling up there. Pause, but he's just fucking dying. Blood is rushing to his head.
Oh yeah, that spot was fucking insane. I don't know why you had to hang this man upside down just to kick this man in the face with the thumbtacks from the Reebok pumps. Yes, so Darby is hanging upside down. He got kicked in the face, and I was just dangling there. Yes, chance for happening because Daniel's going for the finish on Jack, I believe. Or no, not on Jack. I can't remember who the finish was on. But somehow Jack comes out of nowhere with, I believe, like his version, like the knee kick or the knee strike, or the Shining Wizard or something like that. And that's how he gets the win. Jack ends up with the pin on Daniel Bryan.
Stupid. Makes no sense. I have no problem with the fire spot as a whole. Setting someone on fire,
I saw a lot of people upset at that.
I did too. So I'm trying to. I would like to be very clear and transparent. Setting someone on fire, I'm fine with that part. I'm fine. The picture, like, to me, they didn't get a good amount of stills. Sorry, because of Jack wasn't super suited up for a fire spot. So like when he got set on fire, he's kind of just like flailing really fast. So it's kind of hard to like get some good real still pictures, but there's a couple good shots. That's neither here or there. My problem with the whole fire spot is the fucking ending of this match. He should be kayfabe gone. He should not be in the match. Someone who is set on fire shouldn't be the person that gets the fucking win. He should be kayfabe dead. Him and Darby both should have been out of this match. Darby should have never been hanging upside down. They should be taken out of this match. So again, talking about power stuff. Honestly, Jack Perry should go after Swerve right now. He got set on fire and won the match. He didn't just win the match, he got the pin. What the fuck? The man was set on fire.
Yeah. He was set on fire. You're not wrong. But that, like, it just alludes to, like, even more so of, like, the anarchy part of it. Like, none of this shit made any fucking sense. Like I said, it reminded me of a Will Ferrell fight scene. So, like, it was just the most random fucking shit happening at, like, the entire match. Entertaining? Fuck yes. Reasoning? Throw it out the window. There's no fucking reason.
You can still have this anarchy match and still tell a story. If someone gets hit by a bus, they should be out. Now, they dodged it, and they say they dodged it. Okay, fine. He dodged the bus. He still gets fucking double super kicked with tacks in his face, who he just had a broken nose because he real life just got hit by a goddamn bus. But the other thing, you had Jack Perry, who was the person who ran the bus into something. That nigga was he was concussed, unconscious in the driver's seat for a while. Then he gets set on fire. I don't know how else to say this, with a flamethrower, and he's still the person that wins the match. You can still have.
This was some video game shit. This shit was it was so out of like just reality. There's no reality in this. All I'm saying, but I think that's also the fun part about it. Is that like
we can still have the fun and anarchy, but there could still be a thread to it. Someone who gets set on fire shouldn't be the person that's ending the match. They should be the last person getting up, being like, "Oh fuck, whoa, bro, we won." Like, yeah, we won, bro. You've been out for a while because you got a concussion and you were set on fire. All I'm saying, they didn't have to change a single spot. All I'm saying is they could sell those spots better. You can keep every single frame.
I will give you that. So if he had got up and he was just stumbling to a crisp and just rolled in and just threw an arm over, cool, he gets the fucking win. But the fact that he did it, he got up, he had a finisher, and then got the win, that was the issue. If he had got a more in story, like, damn, I'm crawling to this bitch, but I'm going to get this goddamn win. It wouldn't have been that big of an issue.
We should not have seen him until the bell rung. He got sat on fire.
Okay. You want him completely out.
Yes, he got sat on fire. Again, how do you raise the stakes? I'm sorry, but again, someone is going to have to get shot next pay-per-view. Because how else do you raise the stakes? A nigga got set on fire.
And still won. So your regular swerve stomp can't kill me if like I got set on fire and came back. I get it.
He should never lose another match. As far as I'm concerned, he got set on fire, bro.
Set on fire and hit and concussed. You can
the Fiend got set on fire. He was at least gone for 2 weeks, and he's a demon.
It's true. This is true. That's also funny too, because like that's what I've seen is that people like were on AEW for doing the fire spot. Which, if you go back and look at it carefully, they dunked Jack in the water, which was to get him wet enough to get lit on fire. And when he came back, he was gelled the fuck up. Yeah. Like he had on fireproof pants, which I noticed. Arms were gelled up, hair was gelled up. Like he was in fireproof like gel, and then he got lit on fire. So if anybody's listening to this right now, if you go back and look at it, all the steps and precautions was there. And then I think the Tuesday afterwards, it came out that he was doing fire stunts. Like he was doing this while he was not wrestling in AEW. He was doing like live fire like stunts and shit like that. So he's been training for this since last year at least. So this wasn't like an unfamiliar spot for him.
That's great. That's all fine. But I'm talking about story. That's, again, I have no problem with the spot. And I'm not going to be like, oh, well,
the story wise, it didn't.
I hated it, but I'm fine with the Fiend being set on fire. I'm fine with both characters being set on fire. It's the story. It's how, like, again, he should not have finished the match. He should be out.
Okada should have got the pin.
Yeah, that would have, yes, because they fought twice already. That would have made way more sense to me.
Yeah, I get you. I can rock with that. I have no issue with Team Elite winning. I think it does more for them. I think you'll find another resurgence of somebody. Yeah, they should have won. I think you're going to find another resurgence, somebody trying to step up to them. This leads into Dynamite where they try to give the belt to
which
Jack.
They should have.
They're like, well, we don't have anybody. I think so too. I think you should have just gave it to Jack instead of doing like the tournament angle. But yeah, they try to do the angle to just give Jack the belt. Christopher Daniels come out and say he's an EVP by way of Tony, which or interim EVP by way of Tony. So I don't know how that makes any sense because you're not actually replacing. I mean, he is
He
replacing
got
Kenny.
fake. He
I
got
don't
fake
fucking know.
fired, and he got fake rehired, and now he's a
Rehired, yeah.
substitute intern.
Now he's an
Yeah,
interim EVP.
and now he's making calls and
Yeah.
shit.
So should have gave Jack the belt. I think it would have been better. You want the Elite to have all the belt, all the gold right now anyway. If you're doing story shit, it just makes the most fucking sense. But yeah,
I mean, they
that
didn't have
was
to give it to him in the sense of like what happened with Triple H when Eric just gave him the belt, but he could have just won it. We don't need it. We didn't need another fucking tournament. And like he got set on fire. So again, like what can stop him? He bet dog. If he loses a single match regularly, I might rant. I'm sorry. Like he got set on fire.
He gotta lose to a pin sometimes.
No, he needs to lose.
We gotta put a timestamp on that.
He needs to lose to a fucking bazooka. I just watched him get sat on fire.
I can't wait for the day where Jack loses to a roll up. When Jack gets rolled up for the pin and loses, I know you're gonna be like, "Hey, there's no way this shit makes any fucking sense." Oh man, yes. That was Double or Nothing. I checked it out. Dope. I loved it. If I give it a rating, I think I give King of the Ring like a 4 out of 5, and I would say it's probably somewhere around there, maybe like a 4, 3.75, somewhere around there. Just because of length, like it was really long, like long pay-per-view, and some matches didn't need to be there. So I think I'll say like 3.75 because King of the Ring overall had good matches. I just didn't like the finish of like the last one.
Hopefully, with the more pay-per-view, they need to stop having 12 matches per show. There's two for sure matches that could have just been on Dynamite, and there's one match that didn't even need to happen. So
yeah, or just fill out the pre-show. The pre-show only has 2 matches, and it's an hour. Like 30 minutes of it is just them talking about the pay-per-view. You could use another 30 minutes and just do an hour and a half of matches, and then 30 minutes of just heading into the pay-per-view. Overall, like I said, dope event. I enjoyed it. Can't wait for the next one, which will be Forbidden Door in New York. We also have Clash of the Castle coming up in 2 weeks. So be on the lookout for that. We'll give our predictions on that. Hopefully we can get a match card before the PLE. That way we can give you our predictions, because sometimes like just timing, it just doesn't add up. Next week's episode, we'll be back to our regular scheduled programming where we'll cover all 3 shows. So be on the lookout for that as well. Before we head out of here, you got anything you want to say? You want to get off your chest?
No, thank you guys for listening. Share with your friends, like and subscribe, talk to us. Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah. We will catch you guys in the next one. It's been real. Peace out.